Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Infinite Horizon. We return to space this week. I'm very excited. Um, yeah, welcome everybody. Let's see, a few things to get right off the top. First of all, those of you who are in the Discord server may have noticed this already yesterday, but we postponed our Patreon post for the week. It should be coming out some point tomorrow afternoon, evening time. We'll keep you posted. So that is definitely a thing that happened yesterday. Also, this week, we have our first Ramblemancy of the month, where we will be joined by Olivia, who is stepping in for John. Um, and we'll be talking about storytelling in
I can try to
TTRPGs.
talk about teaching, but I don't really know that much about it.
Yeah,
But I can
just
try. I can pretend to be him.
Olivia's gonna show up and do her best John impression.
I'm here for it. I'll watch that.
I just had to sit here and resist the urge to roast John a little bit. So, moving on. Uh, it's okay. He's in the chat. He would be aware of it. So anyway, yeah. So that'll be that'll be fun. John says, just say. So like, TTRPGs are really similar to teaching a few times. That's advice on how to be John by John.
I'll take it under consideration.
Yeah. All right. But yeah, so that'll be fun. We'll be talking about storytelling and TTRPGs and media, and just sort of really picking that apart and seeing just what we come up with. It's
Sounds
Ramblemancy.
fun.
Yeah, I'm very excited. Of course, next week we start the week off with In Too Deep, our Waterdeep Dragon Heist actual play. They have a haunted inn now. It's excellent. I'm very very excited about all of that. And my favorite part about it is the name that chat helped them choose, which was the Incorporeal.
So good.
It's just the best. Anyway, it's very good. I'm extremely
You might
excited
say
to
it's
see it.
an inside joke.
Yes. I suppose one might say that. Anyway, so yeah, once again, the VOD for that is up currently on Twitch, and it will be on YouTube on Saturday. So yeah. Otherwise, I think that's everything pre-stream. Yes. You guys have anything that you want to talk about?
Normal as queue times on Sunday at 5 p.m. Pacific. I'll be on Power Play playing another superpowered character. We had our charity stream on Sunday, which you can check out the VOD. It's 4 hours long, and Darren DePaul is a delight.
Mm-hmm.
Darren DePaul,
So
the
good.
boy with no name.
Name.
Oh god, very very good.
It's ridiculous. It's a very fun time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Drac, do you have anything you want to say? It's coming up. Or?
I mean, yeah, I think I mentioned it a few times before, but I'm the co-founder and the event organizer of Friends Roll Dice, and the GM call for the charity event we're going to be doing in March is closing today in 47 minutes. So if you want to throw in, your like application to be a GM for that one of the one shots we're doing in that month, please do. And we're going to go through it as quickly as possible. Honestly, I might just go through it immediately after stream and pick some people out, and then we're going to do a player call, hopefully tomorrow, but maybe on Friday at the latest. So you can sign up there. But I think that's pretty much it from me. I have so many things. Like, there's no point us saying everything just right now.
That's fair. That's fair. Okay, well, if there's nothing else, then we can get into tonight's show with the recap, which I have written, and it is here. So give me a second while I transition over to that. All right. So, oh my god. Please calm down, computer. All right. So previously on Infinite Horizon, With the decision made to further the cause of the resistance by inspiring small revolutions galaxy-wide, the crew waited on an intelligence report that would determine their first destination. Peach found herself once again within the dream space of the artifact, this time face to face with a much older Olim. Olim warned her that there was a war coming that would not be won with ships and armies, because it was a war for consciousness itself. Despite Peach pressing him for more information on what specifically was coming, Olim left her with only one cryptic clue: the Voxora know, the Voxora remember, which of course prompted her to speak with one of their closest Voxora companions, Patch, who gave some pretty, well, still cryptic, but illuminating information on the Voxora and how their civilization came from the destruction and extinction of another one. A little later on, Taeon threw himself into investigating the time anomaly in order to avoid confronting the fact that in saving the crew's lives months ago, he had inadvertently created an alternate timeline. The implications weighing heavily on his mind, Taeon went to investigate the artifact himself, hoping to find some answers. Unfortunately, the only thing he left with was a somewhat meandering conversation with Professor Tenoris, who, in spite of his near constant study of the artifact, couldn't give Taeon the answers he sought. After some days spent preparing, the crew of Awakener departed on their first official mission for the Resistance to a remote planet in the Borderworlds. Home to a small settlement, the planet had recently come under fire by a gang of pirates that intelligence reports discovered were being bankrolled by high-prime terraforming to terrorize the populace. Upon arriving in the system, Awakener immediately ran afoul of a pirate patrol. Through a series of impressive and even impossible maneuvers, Bina was able to put some distance between them and their attackers. Before they could catch their breath, however, the patrol was attacked and ambushed by a group of brightly colored starfighters, which made quick work of the pirate patrol. Excuse me. So, that is where we left off. Let me transition back here. Where we fully left off. So, that's where we will be picking up right now. As a moment ago, Bina sort of plastering herself to Awakener's canopy, just sort of staring out after the fighters, was asked, "What is it? What's going on?" And she said, "Those are the best starfighter pilots in the galaxy," which is where we left. So, that's where we are now. So, Bina, what are you doing right now?
It's fully face pressed against the glass wherever like I don't think she knows what to do. I think she's just looking to see if get a glimpse. Was it only the three of them, or did we spot any more?
It was just the three that you saw, but those you also saw signs of like engagement on, like, Mason saw signs of engagement on the ship's scopes, seeing the enemy contacts disappearing from the sensors. So there are presumably there are more beyond those three.
Yeah, I think she just will like plop back down in her chair and be like as if it's one of those things where like just assuming the people around her understand how cool that just was, and is like,
you are met with slightly perplexed stares. Actually, you know what, Mason?
Mm-hmm.
I want you to go ahead and give me an intellect roll. The difficulty is going to be 3.
All right, dice, you're coming out.
Just sort of a basic knowledge
Wrong way.
check.
Okay. I should have okay, I rolled a 4.
Okay. So that's not enough.
No.
So no one knows what's going on.
So nobody has any idea what's happening.
I love that. That makes it funnier.
Yeah. You're met with just sort of a bunch of perplexed stares.
Well, okay. Mason's going to at least do some scanning to see if there's anything further afield, because there's maybe still threats out there. I don't know.
Okay, actually, you know what? This is a good opportunity to do a scan. So I'm actually going to have you make another roll here to use some of the equipment that you've got. So this will also be an intellect roll. The difficulty is going to be 4 on this one. However, you automatically will get an asset from Awakener on this one. So
awesome.
Drops
So
back down to 3.
3. And I'm going to spend some intellect.
Excellent.
Yeah, I'm going to spend a couple. 2.
You're going to spend 2 levels of effort?
Mm-hmm. 2 levels of effort. And just make that down to a... Was that a 1 now? Sorry.
Yes. Yeah, it should be down to a 1 now.
Cool.
So you just need a 3 or better.
All right. I like those odds. Well, I rolled a 4.
Excellent. That seems to be your number
Wow.
tonight.
It does. I hope not for the entire night. Okay.
All right. So
got him out early.
Right. That's what that is.
So as you're looking at your scans, you're not actually seeing anything anything other than like what is essentially like the contacts on the scanner of basically just what amounts to like husks, like destroyed contacts essentially. And then as you look a little closer, you start noticing that there were sensor blips that could have very easily been like interference from background radiation or any number of things. But now that you're looking at them, you can see that sensor blips generally don't move in formation. And so as you're seeing that, what you realize is that what you are seeing is essentially a bunch of ships that are somehow hidden from your sensors.
Ooh, yeah, I mentioned that.
It's hard to say exactly how many. Almost impossible to tell from that. It's mostly just interference that you're seeing, a lot of it.
What were we doing here again?
Alma says, I think she kind of points out the view screen where you can see, like, somewhat distantly still, you can see a planet a little ways away.
We're going somewhere. Right. And she's kind of very much like, I think still visibly the starstruck a little bit. She's like, okay. And she's going to start
you see
getting shit back in order.
As you start kind of like reorienting yourself, you actually watch as, like ahead of you, you see several just loudly painted fighters, like not just color-wise, like there are patches of color, of bright color, but there are also patches of like random patterns as well. And you see several of them just sort of streak past, followed up by a few more, and then a trio of them taking up the rear that sort of pull around, take sort of maneuvering in just such a way so that they are kind of almost nose to nose with Awakener, with like one nose to nose with Awakener and the other two sort of like up on either side and behind. And you can see actually hold on, let me double check that I actually know my key commands here. Cool. All right, you start hearing, you start seeing that you are being hailed on the comms.
She does like a full like looks around at everyone and was like, oh, okay, and she'll open accept the hailing frequency.
Yeah. You hear it connect, and then you hear
hello, this is Awakener.
There's a beat, and then you hear a male voice, well, Awakener, welcome to the ass end of the galaxy. Patching you into our frequencies to make things a little bit easier.
Thank you.
There's a moment as you wait, and you actually watch as like Awakener's displays start scrolling, seeing that you're like basically being patched into a new frequency, and then you hear just sort of a very brief, and suddenly you're hearing a whole bunch of voices, you just sort of kind of several of them kind of talking over each other, and then at one point just they sort of they start sort of separating out to a variety of voices, and you just hear nice shot on that last one, hot shot. And it's like, well, I don't like to brag, but I've been putting in my time in the simulator. Shut the hell up. We don't have a simulator. Basically just like a bunch of random background stuff, and then all of a sudden just you hear the same voice that originally hailed you. It's like, all right, cut the chatter. We've got a guest.
Hello, this is Bina Oba, a pilot of Awakener. It's so cool to meet you. Hi. I'm here with my crew. Thanks for the cover.
You hear a different voice come in, just saying, "Oh yeah, you're welcome. Definitely. I mean, never mind, you almost blew our entire ambush, but well, we got there in the end."
You did fine. It was fine.
Also,
sorry about that. Didn't mean to. We weren't trying to get in their way at all. That was my bad.
You hear the original voice again just say, "Maybe this is best a conversation that we have somewhere else. How about you follow us back to our carrier, and we can talk there."
Bina will look to the crew in the bridge with her and be,
what's going on? Who are what?
I'm gonna Bina will turn off the mic real quick, and so that you can ask your questions. Go for it.
Who are these? What are they?
And Bina goes, okay, so they're called the Scrapyard Squadron, and they are some of the most impressive pilots in the galaxy, and their ships are really cool. But that's neither here nor there, but they want us to come back with them, which is really cool, and maybe it could be really cool if we got them on our side too. That could be something that is useful and not at all influenced by my own personal opinion of how cool they are.
No, if they fly like that, then yeah, I'm with you. And they saved us, so at least we owe them a conversation and some trust. I just wanted to understand a little bit. They sound cool.
I think Taeyeon and I are still in the cargo hold, right?
Yeah.
At this
It's
point.
That's right.
When we stop like rocking back and forth.
Yeah, I
it's
think at
kinda
that
like-
point we'd kind of unstrap and like go up.
Yeah.
We'll say we can say that at this point you are.
We come running in.
Yeah, y'all will fill you in and everything.
Yeah.
You good, y'all? Everyone good to follow?
I mean,
Yeah,
yes.
I might have passed out for just a second, but it's all good
It was
now.
way more than a second.
Well, we don't need to get into the specifics.
It's fine. We'll be fine. And she'll turn back to you can turn it back on and be like, Roger. We'll follow you in.
Copy that, Awakener. Follow us. We'll get you somewhere safe. And with that, the communication cuts. You watch as the fighter just basically like you watch as maneuvering thrusters fire, and the fighter basically goes back end over end, and like basically flips in place, and then just very smoothly transitions into just sort of forward thrust, following the others that you saw passing by. So
I think when you two come up, like, so we kind of ruined their ambush a little bit, so they might be kind of mad at us. But
I mean,
they're inviting us to follow, so
we didn't know they were having an ambush. I mean, if we did, it would be a very terrible ambush. I feel like us not knowing about it was kind of a compliment to the ambushing skills.
yeah.
Definitely.
all right, so you follow the trio that had kind of stayed behind, and as you're following them, you sort of like looking to the side, Bina, you watch as suddenly you see like a wing of fighters sort of pull up, just sort of in formation, just sort of off the port bow, and then the same on the other side, mirroring like another wing just sort of pulling up. Looking out from what you can see, you're seeing that there's probably about 7 or so. 7 fighters in total. And yeah, they all of them are different, like basically other than the trio that you're sort of following, which are this sort of almost dart shaped fighters, look fairly uniform, at least in terms of their in terms of their structure. Not a one of them is looks like any others in terms of their paint job, but the other 4 are basically just like a bizarre mishmash of different small fighter craft. Some of them are models that are pretty outdated. Some of them are a little bit more modern, look like they've had some modification done just at a quick glance, but for the most part, it's like pretty standard, like nothing out of the ordinary as far as fighters go. At least one of them, it's kind of a miracle that it's even flying at all. But yeah, you're so that's kind of what you're seeing here, as you're following them up. After a little while, kind of you start to note they're sort of guiding Awakener a little bit, in formation, keeping close to the debris field, like that they had been waiting in ambush, that you'd used for cover, just sort of large space rocks that were kind of all scattered through this area, keeping close to it, with the practiced ease of pilots who do this kind of maneuvering a lot. Before too long, however, you find yourselves exiting from the debris field, by kind of pulling around the side of one of the larger asteroids in the small patch. And as you round the asteroid, you see a large, what looks like, it's not the same model that Bina frequently flew on, but it is similar. A large freighter, like a big cargo hauler. Probably not one of like the big commercial sized ones, but more like the size that's generally used by independent cargo haulers. You can see it has seen its better days for sure. Unlike the fighters, this particular vessel has not been painted to mask its age and sorry state. You can see a lot of the hull plating is like rusted and like just, it looks in terrible shape. That thing should not be flying. But somehow it is. And as you find yourselves, you kind of find Awakeners sort of being guided in towards the aft cargo door, which opens wide enough, just barely wide enough for Awakener to pull in. So yeah, with just a little careful maneuvering, you're able to land in what looks like a cargo hold that has been fully refurbished and renovated, removing some of the dividers between cargo sections to basically create an enormous open space that is very clearly a hangar. Very sort of makeshift hangar bay. There are another 4 fighters inside, already just sort of docked. And as you pull in, you can see as you sort of set down on the hangar deck, you can see crews rushing around immediately, attending the fighters that have just landed. You watch one of the uniform fighters, one of the dart fighters. You see the canopy sort of open up and a pilot pull themselves out, removing their flight helm. You see an Anzalonian man, hair like a very like military cut, sort of a little broader of build than Anzalonians tend to be. You see as he sort of very adeptly swings himself down onto the ladder that is wheeled over to him by some of the crew and starts disembarking. Alma leans forward and she goes, "Wow, this is nice."
Yeah. Fiona's just like trying to just looking at everything. Listening, but like more focused on looking.
Yeah.
Maybe these people will know some things about these pirates.
Yeah.
They've...
I mean, if they were out here ambushing, did we know who swarmed us when we pulled in? Who did I pull in front of?
It was pretty clearly a bunch of like pirate raiders.
Okay, so
Yeah.
I mean, if they were ambushing the raiders, hypothetically, we're on the same side.
So I'm assuming the plan is more than just a meet and greet. We're gonna actually try and recruit these people. They do seem very skilled behind the wheel.
Mm-hmm. I mean, and they're this mostly out here, as we were kindly told, the ass end of the galaxy.
It's a good way to describe it, actually. Yeah.
So I mean, if we can get them on board, I don't really know. Do I know what their like alignment is, like generally? Like, are they like vigilante types, or do they just specifically like are they protectors in general, or?
I will say,
It's okay if I don't know. I just figured.
I think you would have some of this information. I'm pulling up my notes right now because I think there's some of it that you might not have. So I'm gonna actually make you roll.
Yeah, cool.
This is it's gonna be an intellect task, and the difficulty of that is going to be, I think it's gonna be a difficulty 3.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a difficulty 3.
I don't even know what I would add to this.
Yeah.
Might just be a flat roll. Unless he had anything for being familiar with them in general, but
I'll give you an I'll give you an asset for knowing,
for being a fan or a
for being a nerd.
For being a
Ooh,
nerd.
nerd
Under
asset.
his breath, Taylor's like,
Nerd
fucking
asset.
nerd.
So we'll get down to 2 then.
Like, I feel like Taeyeon are like, and Mason are like, so are these guys a big deal? Like, are
I don't know. Like, I think I've heard of them. I don't know.
17.
17. Okay, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So here's what you know as I proceed. All right, so what you know about Scrapyard Squadron is that they were originally part of a fighter wing that generally escorts emissaries from the GHC, or the Galactic Humanitarian Consulate. Think of it as basically a huge organization that does a lot, that operates mainly in the Borderworlds, just because that's where they need the most of this kind of stuff, but not exclusively. They've been known to operate on independent systems as well, offering things like humanitarian aid. They are often courier services, generally for medical supplies, but not exclusively. They have a whole division of trained medics. Think this is kind of like, think a combination of like Space Peace Corps and Doctors Without Borders, combining those things. But they generally sort of they help where they can, but they tend to stay in. They do as the best that they can to stay as neutral as possible in any sort of Borderworlds disputes. What you know about Scrapyard Squadron is that they came from, they are sort of a rogue fighter squadron. They were once an escort for an emissary on one of the Borderworlds that you're not sure on the details, but you know that something happened that caused them to essentially go rogue, abandon the GHC emissary that they were accompanying, or team, not necessarily an emissary. It was a team, and basically from then on have been operating in the Border Worlds, operating counter to how the fighter wings or anybody from the GHC are supposed to, which is directly interfering in like conflicts, particularly just trying to keep some of the settlements and cities and basically any population that is not directly involved in a lot of the like syndicate wars over turf in the Border Worlds, or conflicts between pirates and the regulators. Basically, they're the ones who are essentially they're like a vigilante fighter wing. Yeah.
I think as we're like docking, like getting into this hangar wing, I think Bina is very like rapid fire spewing all the facts she knows about them, so that everyone knows as much as she does. So like going into like, well, first originally they were did it like the history behind it. Yeah. She'll give everything that Lucas just said. She'll spew out at rapid fire for you.
So like right at the end, Tim's like, "Oh wait, no, I remember actually learned about this in history class. No, I remember now. I think I remember."
And actually, as a note, Peach, you would be very familiar with the Galactic Humanitarian Consulate.
Okay.
Yeah, they are sort of they don't tend to they're not owned by any particular government or faction. They sort of operate. They have headquarters in various major cities within all of the major factions. So you would have almost certainly had dealings with the GHC at various points in your career as a politician.
Cool.
So you all prepare to disembark from Awakener. So who is going?
Yeah. I think
We're all going.
Yeah.
We'll say for now, for the sake of this, we'll say it'll just be you four for now. Everybody else is sort of opting to stay.
Vix doesn't need to come.
Yeah.
All right. So the loading ramp lowers to Awakener as you all step out, and waiting.
Puts on his helmet, and visor with like shaded visor as well.
Nice.
Looking good.
Trench coat, hat.
I have my toolkit,
Nice.
but I bring that everywhere, so that's not surprising.
My appearance is unchanged.
Yeah, same.
I woke up like this.
All right, waiting for you at the bottom of the loading ramp, you see that same Anzalonian with the military cut that you saw before, standing, flanked by a Keldro woman. She basically has her hair in four. Her hair is sort of like a bright platinum. And it's like she has 4 braids that are all kind of tied back together in sort of like a bunch. And on the other side, you see a human man with dark skin and a very close cut, well tended beard, head shaved down almost to the scalp. As you step down the ramp, the Anzalonian man steps forward. He says, "Welcome aboard the derelict."
Thanks for having us.
I'm Major Silden Krail. I'm the leader of our little ragtag band.
And this is the Anzalonian? Sorry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He says, this is Nikara Zadzima. He points to the Keldra woman. He says, Captain Zadzima, and he says, and over here, this is Sergeant Kenson Benoit.
Nice to meet you all.
They nod, and you can see Benoit. He smiles in a smile that just goes ear to ear, and just sort of like just sort of this dazzlingly wide and cheerful smile as he greets you.
Helen just goes like, nice to meet you all too. And he's kind of like standing up straight, like I guess at attention almost, especially after you had like Major, Captain, Sergeant. He's kind of like stands in attention.
Yeah.
Almost on instinct.
Yeah. The Major Krail, he turns to all of you, says, well, it's good to meet you. I figure anyone who pisses off the pirates is someone worth knowing, so.
Well, the sentiment is mutual.
And you are?
I'm being Oba, and she'll put it out in her hands to shake.
Yeah, he shakes it.
I'm Taeyeon, and he like stretches out a hand, for like firm handshake, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Peach, nice to meet you. I return the I try to match his grin level.
Yeah.
Vita was before he even smiled. So
Just the four of you, or?
we have more of a crew, but this is everyone who's disembarking.
Yeah.
Understood. Well, let's retire to more comfortable quarters, shall we? And he turns, and he reaches to like basically where he has like, you can see an insignia that he taps. And he says, Specialist Laura, yeah, take us out of here. And you hear a woman's voice respond, Roger that, Major. Roger that, Major. Getting the hell out of here. Yeah, so you following the three of them through the through the hangar bay. You can see as you walk through the hangar, you can see crews already. There's probably about maybe 20 or so crew that are currently have like occupied the hangar and are now servicing the fighters that just landed. As you move through, you can see pilots. Some of them are still standing around their fighters, still in their flight suits, sort of talking with the crew. Several of them are already. You can see several of them already making their way out of the other end of the hangar, into the rest of the ship. A few of the crew sort of glance up and sort of watch as you pass, just sort of curiously. But then immediately go back to servicing the ships. As you're walking, the Major turns and says, "So, what brings you all the way out here? Can't imagine the tourism is particularly good this time of year, or any time of year."
Did we get a name of the planet?
Yeah, that we were headed to.
I have it written down somewhere. And I don't.
I think we said we were gonna get it after this.
No, and I
did.
did, and
Oh yeah.
I
I
wrote
don't
it
think
down
we-
to myself, and
yeah.
I don't have it here. I'll find it later, but
That's okay.
Yeah.
Planet X.
We got interrupted on our way.
Yeah.
He says, "Well,
I kind of like.
go ahead."
I was gonna say I kind of like looked to Bina when he asked where we're heading to, because like they sound cool, but he's not entirely sure if he trusts them yet. So he's kind of like looked to be like,
You should know better than this motherfucker. If you let her be the face of this conversation, you are not going to be happy about the outcome, Mr. Secrets. So yeah, if Dave's Bina to go into the nod of like, you go for it, Bina will be like, well, we're headed for insert planet name here. We have been informed that they could use some help, and so that's why we're in the area. And unfortunate miscalculation on my part put me in the middle of a pirate swarm. But
Bit of
so
bad
that
luck.
was not on purpose. But being in this area was.
The sergeant, the human man, he turns a grin on you and says, "It's very easy to do these days. Pirates swarm this place very frequently. Their patrols
we
are
knew-
getting harder and harder to avoid."
We knew we would find them, but I wasn't expecting them so soon.
The major nods and says, "I think I've got this handled. Captain, Sergeant, you're dismissed." And the two of them nod, "Sir," and they deviate from your path and kind of turn down a corridor. As you leave the hangar bay. So you as you're moving along, Major says, "Yeah, well, lately this system has been thick with those bastards. We caught wind of it about a month back, and well, we've been assessing them and their strengths for a while. They seem to have particular interest in this area, so whatever you're hoping to gain from this, I gotta tell you, right now you're not likely to get it, mainly because there's a whole hell of a lot of these guys around. Honestly, I'd advise you to turn around and maybe come back a little ways down the road."
Oh, I don't think we have a little ways down the road, unfortunately.
He stops next to a door, which, as he stands next to it, you can see, he kind of pulls pulls a card out of like a pocket of his flight suit and waves it, and the door beeps and just slides open. Inside you can yeah.
Also, can I get a read on him just during this conversation? How does he feel about us?
He is feeling cautious, not suspicious in any way, just sort of,
Okay.
yeah, more just sort of like it's more like seems like he's kind of assessing you at the moment.
Understandable.
And as the door slides open, you look inside, and there is what appears to be a sort of makeshift conference room or briefing room. There's a whole bunch of seats set out, and there does appear to be a not a podium exactly, but just sort of a small table kind of at the front of the room with where you can see hollow projectors sort of set, like wall-mounted hollow projectors, that are currently not displaying anything. They're currently inactive. He says, "Step in, have a seat. Closest thing to an office we've got here, so we're not used to receiving guests."
Thanks for the hospitality.
Yeah.
Bina will sit.
Thanks for the save as well.
Mason finds a thing to lean up against instead.
Yeah. He also remains standing, and you can see he takes his flight helmet and just sort of sets it on the table at the front, and then turns around and just sort of leans back against the table. Says, "So, you said you're here to help the settlers? You don't mind my asking, what business do you have with the settlers?"
Well, what business do you have with them?
Well, we're, I don't know how much you know about, you probably haven't heard of us, but we're Scrapyard Squadron. This is
Dina just like bites her tongue and says nothing.
this is kind of what we do out here. We find places, pockets of pirate activity or gang warfare that is scattered out, that has started to spiral out to threaten uninvolved worlds or populations, and we do our best to keep them out of the fire.
We're just here to help, just like you.
Yeah.
It's kind of a
sounds like fun.
coincidence. That's almost exactly why we were here as well. So
Yeah.
Well, if you don't mind my saying so, coincidences are rarely that. And you'll understand if I don't exactly take you at your word that you're just here to help.
Bina nods understandingly.
Nobody's just here to help.
Well, I mean, we'd be happy to trade intel with you. I don't know. You might already know things that we know. But we came out here on purpose.
Well, that either makes you very confident or very stupid. I'm still trying to figure out which one it is.
I mean, it takes a bit of both.
we're usually both in most of our actions.
Yeah, I think that does actually kind of cover us.
You can see the kind of like corner of his mouth twitch a little bit at that, and he just says, "All right." He says, so, who do you represent? Are you independent contractors, or?
I think Bina's like, I don't even know what we would call ourselves. Like,
Yeah.
We represent the
Mason's like,
Awakener.
wait.
We represent ourselves, I guess.
yeah. I mean, we
Yeah.
have like people supporting us, but
You may say we represent a sort of resistance to these pirates.
All right.
She puts like some very strong emphasis on the word resistance.
Yeah.
Like you might say.
all right,
Like
seeing
an
that she's
inside joke
doing
and
this,
no one else gets it.
Being
We're
so
just like,
fucking-
okay.
be just doing this, Bina's gonna be like, okay, so I want to know what he feels when she says the word resistance with pointed.
You can feel
emphasis.
amusement that is quickly being overtaken with exasperation.
Mhm.
And he just goes, "All right, look, I understand. You don't want to spill too much of what you're doing. And frankly, I'll be honest with you, I don't really care what you're doing, as long as you're not here to make things worse. It's not really any of my business."
I mean, if you're anti-pirates, then as far as I'm concerned, we're on the same side.
That's a fair standard to have. Well, all right. You mentioned something about intel sharing. We've done a fair bit of our own scouting, but I'll admit I'm pretty curious to know what you might have.
How much do we want to share here? I have a little bit of intel written down. I don't know how much we actually have to share.
Right. I think in terms of sharing stuff, Mason's at this point kind of feeling a little more at ease with these people, these folks.
Yeah. It's the same with Taron. At the very least, even though he's maybe a bit reluctant about telling them where exactly we're from, like who
Yeah,
we're
like-
and stuff, he's okay being like, they
Don't
seem
give the home
anti-pirate, we're
address.
definitely
Yeah.
anti-pirate. Yeah.
The home address or
Fair. All right. So what are you telling them? Just
Bina wants to tell them that that they're being bought up by the corpse.
okay.
There's a chance they don't know that.
As you say
Yeah.
that, you do feel a surge of surprise from him.
Okay, cool. I feel useful now.
Yeah. He goes, "Really?
They want to drive the population off of the planet, because there's resources there that they're wanting. So they're buying out pirates, which we had a discussion about is not very pirately.
More mercenary work, really.
Yeah. So we're also kind of anti-corporation. So hopefully you are also on the same page with that one, because that's also a big part of this whole tied together here.
Anybody who's not anti-corporation isn't paying attention. All right, so that's good to know. Certainly explains how well equipped they are.
Do we have any specifics on like funding, like exact funding, or like is there anything like actual concrete, anything we can give them aside from the fact that like we know they're being bought out? Like anything useful other than that?
You're not sure. We'll say for the sake of this that
Well-
you spend a few minutes basically like comparing info, and
We have Revorsa's little
Yeah.
pad of info.
basically like what you can tell, they've managed to figure out at the very least that it seemed like the pirates were interested in something that the settlers had, given that like their raids against the settlement were very rarely as destructive as they easily could have been, which told them that they were trying to extort the settlers in some way for something, but they weren't sure exactly what until you mentioned the resources thing.
Do we know the resources? I
Yeah,
don't think that was.
It's,
we did.
It wasn't something that I mentioned last time, but it is a resource that is called Tetrium. And
we did.
That's
Yeah.
right. I remember
You
that
did
now.
tell us.
I didn't tell you
Took
the
me a
name of
second.
it. I didn't tell you the name
Okay.
of it, but
Yeah, we didn't know. It was
Yeah. It's called
Yeah.
Tetrium, and it's basically its most often used, like its most common application is in like some older like reactors, like ship reactors, but has also been used in the past as reactant for energy weapons.
Weapons. Yeah, that was the big one.
But it was deemed too efficient, so like or too inefficient. So like it has sort of that usage for it is much less common now because it basically it would go inert if not used quickly enough, and therefore was extremely inefficient.
So we think they might have found a use for it.
Any use the corpse find, it probably isn't good, so we want to put a stop to that as quickly as possible.
He nods. Says, "Well, that's certainly putting pieces together. Well, it's a good thing you showed up when you did, because otherwise we would have had no idea that we were taking on one of the corps."
We did have a. Didn't we have a corp name that I think I wrote down?
I believe so.
Yeah, that was gonna be my.
I would
next
have. I know I
question.
wrote it down.
Okay. It was
Maybe you could just tell me.
yeah, high prime terraforming.
High prime terraforming.
Oh, I did write down high prime, but I didn't know what it meant.
Yeah.
That's high prime. I don't know what that means, but
It's some gas, fuel of some kind.
Okay.
Writing it down again.
if you have high prime, you can subscribe to one Twitch channel for free every month.
Oh my gosh.
You can fund 6 pirates monthly with high prime.
Infinite Horizon. We take down Space Amazon.
There you
Alien
go.
Jeff Bezos.
Alien Jeff Bezos. No, he's still just a human.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just
Oh, yeah.
He's just in space now.
He's just oh jeez.
He lived this long. He needs to be.
Probably, yeah. He's found immortality almost for
Yeah.
sure.
He's a head in a jar.
Oh god.
Oh my
Him and
god.
Walt Disney
Futurama
are.
style,
Futurama
I like that.
style, yeah. Whoa.
I'm gonna turn to the major at
Yeah.
this point. So do you have any helpful information outside of this that you could share with us?
Well, I'll be honest with you. You have a lot more than we had. Most of our intelligence reports, we have more specifics, I think, than you have. Most of what we have are some of our notes on the pirates tactics, flight patterns,
Oh.
that kind of stuff. Most of it only observed. We don't have too much in terms of any technical specifications, but they seem to be. This was what was kind of throwing us off a little bit. They seem to be well equipped. All of their attack parties seem to be flying the latest model of raiders, which is not easy to come by, especially not out here, which is where we started suspecting something was up, but had no idea that corps were involved.
They like to stick their hands in everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if there's some kind of, if we can cut off their supply, because there's not like gonna be a local grocery station out here that they can just pick up this shit all willy-nilly. Like, is there a supply chain we can cut off for them?
He leans back and says, okay, hold on a second. Sharing intel is one thing, but nobody said anything about teaming up just yet.
Well, then that we was directed at my friends. Then she'll turn to me.
He just raises an eyebrow at him.
he is just sort of, he kind of head goes down. You can see like there's a bit of a smile as his head goes down. He looks back up. By all means.
The supply chain for what? You mean specifically their ships?
Things that they're getting, because they're being paid, obviously, but they can't just get, like he said, they can't just get these models right off the line. Some of them, I wouldn't be surprised if they're getting stuff that has barely been released yet. Corps have connections that, as we now know, span far broader than they should, or that we would even know. So they're getting them out here somehow.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they're just flying them in, right?
Yeah.
I don't think they'd want to send. It seems more like these pirates are pawns than anything else, and I don't think they would send their own people to deliver them. So maybe they pick them up themselves.
How
maybe
far?
Like a midway point.
Yeah, how far would the nearest, like, just fully habited, like the equivalent of like a city, like a big city, but like as a solar system that would be out here? Because we're out in the middle of freaking nowhere.
Yeah.
How many days travel would it be to get somewhere?
You're probably close to. It'd probably be in the vicinity of a week, maybe even longer. There's not many conduits out this way, which means that you, even with traveling to the nearest conduit, and that's so basically that time is including conduit travel. So like it's close as in relative terms to in the Borderworlds.
Ina's gonna
no, go ahead.
as they turn to him and be like, do you have any idea on numbers?
They do a really good job hiding that exactly. They vary up their numbers whenever they show up. It makes it really hard to tell how many there are in total.
Do you ever see any on the ground, on planet?
They've sent.
Just been up here.
I've seen them send. We've observed them sending shuttles down once or twice within the last, at least as long as we've been observing. My guess is that it's somebody sent down to, well, up until we knew that they were dealing with corpse, I was pretty sure that it was basically the ones sending down to deliver terms. And then it's a common tactic used by the more reasonable of pirate gangs out here. They'll send somebody down to talk to the settlers, and then when the settlers don't pay up, well, then they send in ships to strafe the villages, and then spook them a little bit.
Has any of the squadron been planetside? Have you talked to any of the settlers?
No, we've been keeping our distance. It's out here is one thing. They patrols are relatively infrequent. We can hit them a little bit, like we did just now. That was our first major move against them, actually, since we've been here. Mostly we've been observing. Around the planet itself, it's a little tougher to get in. Their patrols are a lot more frequent there.
Hmm.
I feel like it would possibly behoove us to talk to some of the settlers. They might have different information. We could pass it back along to you, obviously, when we get it. Whether or not you're involved in doing something about it. She turns back to her friends. But is that something... I mean, we wanted to talk to them anyways.
I think that's a great idea. I think they might have some insight that only they would know.
Yeah.
About these pirates.
Mm-hmm.
Anything will help, and we can pass along anything that you guys have given us, anything that they can give us back along up the line to our people, and see if Vorsa can find anything. Do some digging. Maybe with more info, they can get us more intel.
I think that's a good idea, but I do assume that they probably have people who are just as dangerous down there. I don't think they would send just a single, I guess, messenger down if there weren't going to be some armed people to keep watch as well.
Only one way to find out.
We could come in quiet.
I mean, I'm not against it.
The Major speaks up. He says, "That's going to be a little hard. One of the main reasons we've been keeping our distance from the planet itself. It's not just their patrols, but they have we did try when we first arrived. After about a week of observation, we did try to get near the planet, but they were able to detect us almost instantaneously, which is something they shouldn't be able to do unless they have highly specialized, attuned anti-stealth tech. Probably some form of advanced scanner. It'll be hard to...
Probably from the corpse.
Yeah. It'll be hard to get in without raising an alarm, getting everybody in. You'll have a swarm of raiders on your tail before you can even breach Atmo.
What do you feel about causing problems for us?
I
Extraction?
think I've heard enough in the last few minutes to decide that I think our goals are aligned enough. I'll have to consult with my senior staff, make sure that things are set for an op like this, but I think it's safe to say at this point that Scrapyard Squadron's ready to begin our op. And if you're willing, we'll be happy to help you out with this one.
That is so nice to hear. And I can I just do a quick surface read of him? Can I just get his surface thoughts really quick?
Sure.
I'm just a little nervous. I don't know this guy.
Everyone
I don't know this
read
guy.
his mind.
Yeah.
I think he'll put tan.
I guess my next one has to get a mind reading ability, I guess. I don't feel
Okay,
left
I will
out.
just tell Tan later.
All right. So Olivia, remind me how this works.
Let me grab the book. I think I just do it because it takes an intellect. I think it takes intellect spend, but my edge eats it.
Yeah. I think
so
that's
let me just take a look.
if I remember correctly, I think it has an additional, like, if you want to get more than surface, then it requires a roll, I believe.
Is that D&D?
It is, but I think there might be something about this one as well, or I might be thinking about a different ability. But
Okay, let me look. You can read the surface thoughts of a creature within short range, even if the target doesn't want you to. Once you've established contact, you can read the target's thought for a minute. And that's basically it.
Oh, okay. I might be thinking
So.
about something else then, because I think there's another one that's like, where like they know that you've done something. I know that there's. Anyway, that's not important. Yeah.
Does
Does
not
sound like
say
D&D.
that. Does not
It sounds
say
like-
that in.
No,
I think
no.
that's like
I'm
zone
like a
of
friend
truth
cantrip.
or something.
No, I'm almost positive there is something in Cypher that is this. Like,
There probably
It
is,
probably
yeah.
is, yeah.
There are a lot of
Anyway.
versions of the same ability.
regardless, yeah, what you get basically from him is, it's sort of, he's running through a list of like, it kind of seems like it might be some sort of like, it's like basically like, logistics essentially.
Okay.
He's running through like, all right, we have this is what our ammo stores look like, this is what our fuel stores like. Basically he's like running through all this stuff, trying to calculate this stuff out, and saying like, you know, things like, okay, and I'll have to talk to Hotshot, find out what we have as far as this, and like you can just, it's basically his mind is already on like on the op.
When he's saying like ammo and all these things, like how stocked are these people? Like
Not very.
Okay.
They
Yeah.
It's
how
you
do
can.
we have any idea how many of them there are? Would Bina have mentioned that? Would you have mentioned
I don't know that Bina
I
would
mean,
know that.
Okay.
But-
yeah,
Probably
I don't-
not.
Yeah.
Yeah. You saw a total of 7 pilots. You saw 11 starfighters. You saw about 20 flight crew. That's all you've seen so far.
Okay.
I think as they're like, oh, does he have
No, go
something
ahead.
to add?
What were you gonna say?
I was saying, like, if the conversation was winding down, Bina would be like side conversation with him, just to be like, and I mean, since we're here and gonna be working together, if you needed an extra pair of hands, times 2, 4 puts it 4 hands. I'm a trained mechanic as well, and I'd be happy to help out.
I'll keep it open as an option, but you'll understand if we are a bit wary at first of any strange hands near any of our engines.
She's very, like, 100% understands that notion entirely. She doesn't like when other people touch her ship either.
We don't have too much in the way of accommodations, so unfortunately you're going to have to, as long as you're here, you're gonna have to stay on your ship. But you're welcome to eat with us in the mess hall, and yeah. He says, 1 second. As you can hear sort of like a chime from his comm, and as he taps it, he says, and you hear he says, this is Killjoy. Go ahead. And you hear a woman's voice again saying, Major, we are clear of sensor range. Requesting permission to end shift. And he says, "Yeah, go ahead, Specialist Laura." He says, "We're out of the woods for now. You're free to end shift." He goes, "Thank you, sir." Bina, I want you to make an intellect. It's gonna be an intellect task. The difficulty is gonna be, I think the difficulty is gonna be 4.
Oh, okay. Do you want me to read some
Yeah.
skills to you, and you let me know if they display? Okay.
Mhm.
That's not intellect. Sensing emotions, dispositions.
Nope.
Vehicle driving, piloting.
Nope.
Social interactions, pleasant or otherwise.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that one will count.
Cool. Tasks involving sight.
No.
Mechanic.
Mm-mm.
Jury rigging. Okay, cool. We'll do that. So 4 down to 2?
Yep.
Cool. So 6.
6 or better.
I get
All
so
right.
nervous when Caitlin rolls.
I'm like waiting.
I always roll so bad. It was fine.
Okay, cool. So, Bina, you can't there's something very familiar about that voice.
The Laura on the comms?
Mm-hmm. Specialist Laura.
Specialist Laura. Do I know anyone named Laura?
The major turns to you and says, I trust you can find your way back to the hangar on your own. Says, I've got a few things to take care of if we're gonna do this thing.
No dinner?
He says, the mess hall is open to you if you want. You can ask anybody you run across. They'll be happy to point you in the right way.
Oh, hoping for your company. That's okay.
Something tells me we'll have plenty of time for that. These kinds of ops, they tend to they tend to create fast friends. He says, well, I'll see you around. And he turns and starts making his way kind of the opposite direction that you came from.
I think Bean's gonna get out of her seat and grab him at the door or something and be like, excuse me, on your comms, Laura? Who is...
Yeah, Specialist LL Laura. She is our, well, she runs this rig. One of the only people on the crew, with the expertise to fly something like this.
Where can I find her?
He kind of looks at you and says, you familiar with Specialist Laura?
Mm-hmm.
Says, well, right now, he says, seeing as how she's off shift, you can probably find her in the mess.
Thank you. And Bean's gonna turn around to her friends and be like,
a friend of yours?
yeah, you should all come meet her. She's gonna turn around and
See
leave.
what this mess all has.
Seems odd that we'd meet someone all the way out here that and just kind of walking to the mess hall.
I mean, she seemed pretty excited, so I guess that's a good thing.
Does Bina know everybody? Like, she knew these pilots and she knows...
I mean, I think the pilot thing is she just seemed like a super fan. Which I get. I mean, after that endeavor, I definitely see that they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
All right. So, you make your way around, and after a while, you find a one of the flight crew who is kind of currently walking toolbox in hand through the corridor, who directs you to the mess, and you step into being what to you is actually a pretty familiar sight, as this room is basically the same across all freight haulers of this size. It is just a very uninteresting rectangular room, roughly dead center in the middle of the ship. It has probably four longish tables. There is a very rudimentary galley, like the kind of thing that you would find in an office break room kind of thing. It's rudimentary at best, and it's at the moment it's not full, but there's a few people in there. A few of them are actually still wearing their flight suits. One of them, flight suit unzipped and tied around the waist, and just sort of eating and laughing and joking. And Bina, as you kind of glance around the room, you see an older Orzai woman over by kind of standing next to like where there is like very clearly a pot of coffee that she's just sort of pouring for herself. She's significantly shorter than you, probably standing at about 4'3". She has wearing basic mechanics fatigues, and you can see that she has her wings are kind of tied back, sort of in like this common Orzai style, sort of like basically like a harness for the wings. This one appears a bit more decorative, and y'all can see that one of the wings is mangled, due to probably like an old injury. And she turns and sort of starts kind of like limping again, probably due to an old injury, limping towards a table. And then you can see like her carapace is sort of like a kind of like a dark bluish color, kind of like a dark pale blue. And you can tell that like she has some of the like iridescent greenish discoloration around like the cheeks and kind of neck that indicates a little older Orzai. As she kind of turns, kind of looking around for a spot to sit, she catches your gaze, Bina, and you all can see as she just like there's an expression of shock and then just a big sort of lopsided grin.
Bina goes running.
Yeah.
Okay. Looks like they're good friends.
Yeah, she says, well, you are not who I expected to see out here. Just come here, and she just pulls you into a hug.
Big Bina hug.
And she, you stand there kind of in an embrace for a while, and then she kind of pulls away and looks at you, and she says, oh man, last time was what, 7-8 years ago?
Oh, it's been a while, yeah.
She says,
how did you get out here?
well,
This is amazing.
that's a bit of a story. Here, let's have a seat. And she kind of gestures to one of the tables that's empty.
And Bina will turn around and be like, oh, everyone, this is Alel Laura, and Alel Laura, this is everyone. And she's like, all
Hi.
forearm gesture.
Hi.
She's the one who made me interested in flying. She's from where I grew up.
Oh, well, I mean, Bina's become a great pilot, and so I guess it's thanks to you. Thank
Bina
you.
glows.
Oh.
Like,
Saved our lives many times.
I'm sure she did
True.
that all on her own. And she sits down, sets the cup of coffee, says, well, I mean, look at you. And she takes a big gulp of coffee and kind of leans back in her chair. Well, I'm sorry, you're the last person I expected to see out here.
I mean, I could say the same for you.
Well, what brought you out this way?
Pirates?
Guess we have that in common.
I think we're gonna be working together for a little while, at the very least.
Oh, good. I guess that means the Major's finally made up his mind to do something about the pirates, huh?
I was a little rude to him, but
Hmm.
I think it helped.
Well, that's good. It's about time we did something. So, she kind of glances around at all of you and says, I imagine quite a few stories need to be told here. We'll say for the sake of this that you just sort of spend some time.
Where do we even start?
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
Exposition.
so this is a
exposition.
story all about how my life got flipped turned upside down.
Actually,
So he's from the future, and
Actually, I
I will
think
put that we absolutely did not tell her that.
I know.
information.
I did not think you would.
Yeah.
I think as this is a fairly good sort of like moment where we can sort of cut away. We're gonna go ahead and take our break here.
Yeah.
So
You guys.
so yeah, we're gonna.
She's the first NPC I've ever viewed.
Oh my god. Wait, what was her name?
Oh,
How do you
so
spell
cool.
her
La
name?
Laura.
So that's why I fucked it up, is because I was saying it differently in my own head, which is why I was like Laura, thinking Laura, but it's Laura, Allel, and then her last name is Lora, which is why in my brain I was like, those are
Laura.
two different words,
Okay.
even though you say
That's
them
cool.
exactly the same.
No, totally fair.
So Laura.
Awesome.
All right. Well, we'll be back in about 10 minutes or so. So we'll see you then. And we're back. Hello, everybody. We are back from break. When we
I would like to say that Chad is correct and love is stored in the Caitlin's children.
when we left off, the crew of Awakener had joined up with Scrapyard Squadron, and after agreeing to work together to reach the planet's surface through the pirate patrols, Bina found herself in the mess hall of the derelict, talking with her old mentor. So yeah, so that we'll pick up there as you kind of are all sort of finishing up your conversation, sort of giving her a bit of a rundown of excuse me, of how you've basically like what you've been doing. How much actually of that do you tell her? That's the question. Bina, how much
we're
of that
very
do you
excited.
A lot, probably. I'm not gonna lie. Like,
Mhm.
so however much my party stops me from saying, that's up to them.
I think
but
we probably cut in if it's too specific about the
Yeah.
resistance. Like if you start going too.
oh, she's not gonna go into like that shit,
Okay,
but just
good,
like
good.
as far as like, and I think like I don't think she gets into specifics, but she will
Okay.
try to do the whole overarching from.
Well, it's important. There's context that needs to happen, but yeah, like I always just say, no, don't give out the address.
And,
Yeah, I don't know, I
think
think-
Base,
Bina
but-
won't, but like
Yeah.
no time travel mention.
Yeah,
nothing
and
about time travel.
She's
But
very
yeah.
much, and most of it, like, most of it will be her related to Bina. Like, and if y'all have anything
Yeah.
to add, you can absolutely
Yeah.
add, but it's probably going to be all like she
Yeah.
probably is going to go back to like Station 23.
Oh my god.
Like, so when I moved off home planet, I went to whatever and I was doing whatever, and she would tell her probably about Euphoria, and she would tell her
Yeah.
like, I think she would probably, I don't know. Like, Bina's not stupid, but she does like to talk, and this is someone she inherently trusts.
Yeah.
So I think it would go like we found ourselves in a bunch of weird shit, and like you might have seen we were labeled as terrorists, like, but I don't know. I don't think she would have been like specific about it. But then like, and then we were here, and then we were here, and then we were here, and now we're involved with like, but without specifics, to help out with whatever. Cause fuck the corpse. Like I think it would be more like
Yeah.
that type of
Yeah.
thing. Like
Mhm.
Yeah.
we'd run the past 8 years in like 10 minutes or less. Like that's kind of that's what she word vomits
Yeah.
at Laura.
Well, as you're kind of finishing up, kind of the conversation, sort of like tossing back and forth, and some like the events of the past year, she goes, "Well, that's quite a story." She says, I always figured you'd find yourself caught up in big events. I mean, you were always too much not to.
Have you always been doing stuff like this?
Well, not
When you leave home?
no. Well, not quite like this. I joined up with the GHC not too long after you left, and figured we could do a lot of good out in the Borderworlds, running supplies, offering any kind of humanitarian aid, things like that. But things got complicated pretty quick. Borderworlds are a dangerous place. A lot of stuff. A lot of ugliness out this way. thing about the GHC is that, ironically, they're supposed to be out here helping, but they don't like to get involved too heavily. Not in any of the things that people out here actually need help with. Sometimes the conflicts between the gangs, they spiral out, hurt people in the crossfire. The gangs don't care. They're only in it for the turf, for the territory, for the to get back at their rivals, whatever it is. That and pirates occasionally will do exactly what they're doing right now, and GHC doesn't handle any of that. They just deal with the aftermath. But by the time the GHC gets somewhere, it's usually too late. I was on a run with these fine people. She sort of like glances around. She says, on a planet not unlike this one that we're near. Well, word came down the line that there was a major battle coming between a couple of rival factions of, it used to be one gang, but they had a bit of a falling out, disagreement, and word was that there was a big conflict coming, and all GHC forces were to pull out. And for the most part, they agreed, but the Major, he took issue with that. Said we couldn't, he petitioned GHC Command, told them that we couldn't just leave these people in the lurch. That without support from the GHC, they'd be flattened when the fighting started. But GHC denied it and ordered us to return. And I mean, you've met the Major. So, he and what is now Scrapyard Squadron said fuck you to GHC and decided to stick around and do what they could to keep people out of the fire. And for the most part, we did some good. A lot of losses, but not as many as there would have been if we'd done nothing. Ever since then, we've just been going place to place, doing the things that the regulators should be doing, but are too caught up with maintaining a pretense of order to really do anything useful. And helping where we can. Hasn't exactly made us popular with the regulators, or with pirates, with local pirates, or really any of the gangs, but...
Why would you want to be popular with them anyways?
Besides, we do alright. We could do better, but we do okay, at least, and every once in a while we help out some people. They show their gratitude, and it keeps us flying.
Well, we're here to help for however long it takes us to deal with these pirates, I guess.
I know I can't speak for everybody else on this boat, but I'm glad you're around. Glad to have you.
So how do you two know each other again exactly?
Oh.
I'm like addressing it mostly to her because it was never really said clearly.
No.
Oh, I've known Bina Oba since she was about knee-high.
Or knee-high or... Right.
Yes.
Okay.
Says, let's see. Then, mostly I knew her family, and then as she got older, she started asking me questions about about space, about the stars, and how people get around in them.
She showed me how to fix engines. It didn't stick then, but she still was the first person to show me an engine.
Yeah. Well, I taught her everything that I know about flying, but I bet you picked up quite a bit more.
I got some tricks now. And you fly the freighter?
Most of the time, yeah. It's me and one other. We take it in shifts. It's I'm nowhere near the well, maybe if I was 20 years younger, maybe I'd be fit to keep up with some of these pilots around here, but no, it's a good way for me to be able to put my piloting skills to use without, well, with less risk of being shot out of the sky.
Oh, you'll have to come see our ship. I think you'll think it's cool.
I saw her when you were approaching, but I'd love to get a good look.
Dual engines. It's beautiful.
Definitely something special.
Well, I'll definitely love to see that. For now, though, I just got off a really long shift, and I think I need to go and hit my bunk. So, she says,
It's good to see you, Lilra.
always good to see you.
She's gonna give her a big hug.
Yeah, she hugs.
Where she goes.
Yeah, she hugs you back, and then looks at the rest of you and says, "It's good meeting all of you. Looking forward to working together." And she
Likewise.
sets the cup back kind of in the sanitizer, and then kind of limps out of the room.
Have a good sleep.
Oh, I guess I still feel like I need to ask, what is the plan? How soon do we want to get down there? And how soon are the I guess Scrapyard gonna let us get down there, or at least help us get down there?
Well, it seemed like they were starting to organize an op from what the major was saying.
Well, I think at least we should go back to the Awakener and fill everyone else in if we haven't already.
Wire and Reforsa might have some thoughts.
Yeah.
We can give them, like I said, what they gave us and see if that helps them narrow down anything they're doing on their end.
Yeah, that sounds good.
This Scrapyard Squadron sounds kind of like our folks, huh?
Definitely.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Exactly.
All right, so you all head back to Awakener.
I think Bina is like actually glowing, like just like a little bit, just
Oh,
like
that's so cute.
just like a little bit. Like this is like a lot of very cool things happening at her all at once. just like a little bit of a glow on her face.
Yeah. You step back into the hangar. You can see that by this point, a lot of the routine maintenance has been done. There's not quite as many people around. You can see crews that are sort of seem to be. They're basically like pushing the fighters. Like the fighters are basically on these, like, not carts exactly, but they are essentially pretty standard in hangars that are essentially like basically like a mobile jack, right? That like very slightly elevates the fighter and then is used to kind of like push it back into place, so it's out of the way of the main hangar floor. And basically any crew that's left in the hangar is attending to that process. As you step in, you can see there is still one pilot that's left in here who is currently sitting on a couple of what look like empty ammo crates, and she's basically like, it's an Anzalonian woman who has like one leg propped up on the crate that she's sitting on, and has a pad in her hand and is sort of like running through. You're not really sure what she's doing, but she looks very busy, and she kind of looks up. Her hair just sort of like in a ponytail pulled back sort of over her shoulder, still in her flight suit. She looks up. She goes, "Oh, hey, you're the." She points over at Awakener.
That'd be us.
Yeah.
We're the crew.
She goes, "Oh, welcome aboard the derelict. I'm Lieutenant Diani Lorafina, but you can call me Hooligan. Everybody does."
Hooligan. Well, I'm Teon Kez, but I guess you can call me Teon.
All right.
I don't have a name like Hooligan.
She looks up. She says, "I was the one that I And she just sort of.
Oh. I think when she does that, Venus' antennas wiggle just a little bit. She's like, "Oh, with the recognition."
She says, I gotta tell you, that was some fancy flying I saw. Which one of you's the pilot?"
Everyone just looks at her.
Everyone looks at it.
I don't know if you could guess. You know.
And she grins and says, "I wish I could fly like that. I'm a relatively new recruit, actually. Well, not really. I used to fly with them back when they were still part of the GHC, but I didn't leave with them when they left.
You found your way.
Well, you're here now.
Yeah.
Better late than never.
Yeah, that's what I keep saying. Yeah, for the most part, I think people are listening. Anyway, sorry, I don't mean to take up your time.
It's okay.
I'm just busy filing the flight reports, and I hate it. So, I'm just looking for distractions. Is all. It's really good to meet you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think we're about to go eat. So, are we like right next to our
Yeah,
ship?
basically, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we're about to go eat if you when you're done or before you're done or.
Yeah. I'll finish filing my reports and then I'll come and find you.
Cool.
She kind of glances over at Awakener. She says, "I'd love to get a look inside that ship."
She's beautiful.
Yeah. Never seen one like it. Yeah. I'll see you later. She just rushes off.
Kind of nod and wave, and then go back into the ship.
Yeah, you step inside, and Vix is just leaning up against the against the entranceway. He says, "And what kind of time do you call this?"
The right time.
Fair enough, I'll take it.
Were you gonna jump out and try to scare us? Did you like miss your cue?
He says, "Would you believe that?" No, I've got nothing. No, I wasn't trying to scare you.
Good, because it didn't work.
All right. Well, I believe that there is maybe some food being made. I did not try to dissuade Jade from doing that.
Oh boy.
Maybe somebody should though.
Being a ghost before you even finish this. We gotta round everybody up and we'll have expositing over dinner.
Yep. All right.
My name's Hooligan, and it's a really cool sign. Like, do I need a call sign? Should we have call signs?
You know, they have a lot of cool names.
Yeah.
Titles.
What would I be called? Like, Teon the Scoundrel. No, I don't like the sound of that one.
Are you a scoundrel?
Something more true to your
think so.
personality, I think.
I'll think
or
on
ironic.
Or ironic. I'll think on it.
I mean, code names are not a bad idea.
You could do Teon backwards. What would that be?
What would that be? No what? No.
Where would you put? Yeah, where would you put the? Where would you put the apostrophe in here?
Yeah. Where would I put the apostrophe? No.
Between
Yes. No
eat.
eat.
Well, Peach is already kind of a code name, so I don't think I need another one.
That's a good point.
He gives everyone her full name when she meets them.
Every single time.
Well, if you shorten it, you could be, you know, like BO for short.
Damn it.
I'm so sorry, you guys.
I'm gonna grab coffee. Anyone else want some?
Abriel just raises her hand and says, "Yes, please."
On it.
Maybe spike it too.
I know.
Yeah. After you eventually do get like the alert, basically that somebody has sort of signaled from the outside, and
Can we have filled in our crew and sent out our messages to Wire and reverse and stuff?
sure, yeah.
So we don't have to do business in front of new friend.
Potential allies!
Yeah.
Exclamation point.
So Jade actually is the one who goes to answer, and when he returns, he's followed not only by Hooligan but also by the captain. That would be Nikara Zadzima, the Keldro woman. Now no longer in flight suit, just sort of dressed in some somewhat threadbare fatigues. Both of them step in, and Jade says, yeah, we've got company," and he sits back down at the table.
There's food, and she'll point over to the, like, I think we've got like a counter buffet where there's leftover.
Yeah.
If you're hungry.
Nikara sits down, and she just with like a minimal amount of food on her plate, she says, "Sorry, didn't mean to invite myself. Major sent me over with some quick updates on the op." And she takes a couple of bites and then says, "So, it seems like we're making a move on the planet. Few complications have come up in that seems like they reacted a little faster to our ambush than we thought they were going to. So they've increased defenses around the planet. Basically, instead of patrols, it seems like they've formed into a full-on blockade. Nothing we haven't dealt with before, but if you're still willing to help, we could definitely use your support."
Of course.
Yeah.
Venus says and then looks to everyone like, right? Like, that's good.
Yeah, no, we're definitely still in.
Always up for a challenge.
Kind of
I'm
expected
not
it
setting
to
this
get,
one out.
Yeah, kind of expected it to get a bit more dense after that light show you performed.
Yeah, well, it's we figured some kind of response was going to come. We just didn't think it was going to happen so quickly. Anyway, what we're looking at is doing a there's no way to go through quietly, so probably going to end up having to blast our way through. Chances are they won't follow us down once we're planet side, or at least once we break Atmo, but that's not going to stop them from trying to send someone after us. So
I'm gonna pull up our like weaponry and defense schematics for our ships so I can show them to her so that she can, you know, as a person who is part of a squadron, figure out how that will fit into their thing. So I'll pass that over to her.
Yeah, she kind of takes a look at it and just kind of basically gets quiet, just sort of like looking over everything. You're getting the impression from her as she like fully disengages from all conversation to like read over this, that she is very thorough, like meticulous about this kind of stuff. So and actually, as you did that, Bina, as you sent that to her, you kind of sensed like a slight surge of approval from her. Largely due to the fact that you did it without her actually having to ask you. And she just starts going over it, like fully immersed in that, like totally disengaged from conversation.
Who
Are you
can
gonna
help
be-
your? Oh, go ahead.
My question is, are you going to be following us down on planet side? Are you going to join us, or are you just getting us down there?
She glances up and says, well, figure if, it'll probably be a lot harder for us to leave once we're down there, so we'll, we either leave together or not at all.
Sounds
Goes
good.
right back to reading. Olivia, what were you saying?
Oh, I was just gonna say, hooligan, help yourself to anything you like, and try to hand her a plate.
Mhm. Yeah, she takes it gratefully and just starts just wolfing it down. She says, "Oh my god, this is really good," and she just keeps.
Is Jade here? Did he hear the approval?
What? He, I imagine, was interrupted in the process of making food.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
alright.
He was like partially banished.
Yeah. So this is
Which
mostly.
also, yeah, this is mostly a Bina creation.
Okay.
But also, then this would be, I think, the first time Bina has cooked for all of you in like 6 months.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's
Oh,
true.
that's true.
Yeah. Which, quite frankly, as she says, like, wow, this is really good, you probably are all realizing that fact.
Mhm.
I don't think she even thought about
Yeah.
it because she didn't instigate the cooking. Like she just took over.
Yeah.
Made Jade, made herself help Jade. So I don't think she even had that. I don't think Bina has that connection. But
Yeah.
Nothing like a home cooked meal.
And she says,
Yeah.
I haven't had one of those in a really, really long time. You can see that she is just sort of like, as she's eating, she's also like looking around at, like taking everything in, like looking around the ship. And she kind of looks over at you, Bina, and leans in and says, "So, I mean, not to impose or anything like that, but do you think maybe, I mean, can I look around? I mean,
you want to look around?
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
And she goes, you want to?
Jade, do you want to show her around? I'll point out Jade because I think Bina feels like she should be here for this meeting
Yeah.
with the major. So,
Um,
but she'll be like, I mean, someone can show you around. It's
She
not a big ship, but
Yeah.
at least you can have someone who can tell you shit about it.
she looks over at Jade, who goes, yeah, I can. He like sets down the dishes that he was like carrying over to the.
Oh.
And he goes, yeah, I guess I could do that. And she looks over and looks at you, Bina, and she says, it's okay, I can wait. And she just sort of like settles in and just continues eating.
Oh, okay.
And
Alright.
she says, besides, I mean, I'd love to. Nobody knows the ship like our pilot, so. Yeah, I mean,
It's a good ship.
you, Bina, are
Yep.
startled by a surge of irritation
Yep.
from Alma,
Yep.
who is just sort of like sitting over on the other side of the table, like looking at Hooligan and then back to you, and then just goes back to eating.
Mina clocks it
Mhm.
and then but she doesn't say anything.
Crazy kids.
Yeah. So, anyway, after a bit, the captain looks up. She goes, "Well, it's a damn sight better than a lot of. Well, let's just say your loadout is a little more. It's a little newer than most of the stuff that we've got on hand."
She's a good ship, and we'll put her to work, whatever we can do.
Seems
And I offered it up to who did we talk to earlier? What was his position?
major.
Who was the
Major.
major?
We talked to the major. I offered it up. I am also a mechanic, and I've got hands to spare. While we're here, if there's anything I can do for anyone else.
Well, I imagine. And she kind of glances over to Hooligan, who looks over and says, "Oh, yeah, I bet Lainey would appreciate the help. Lainey, our crew chief,
Sounds good.
and she's yeah. usually pretty flustered. It's kind of her constant state of being, so.
Happy to help.
The captain looks up and says, "Well, pretty straightforward. Probably gonna just engage." And you watch as she pulls up on her terminal, just sort of a holo display of the planet, and you can see where they're sort of holographic representations of the ship patrols. She says, "We're gonna try to hit them here, right at this point." You can see where she points there is immediately obvious to you. You can see where there seems to be a larger gap between some of the stationed patrols of ships. She says, "This is not exactly a hole in their defenses, but it's the closest we're likely to find. We're gonna push for this, burn hard and blaze everything we've got. Try to push through as quickly as possible. We figure they'll probably break off pursuit once we break Atmo. At that point, we can we'll be free to find our a spot to land and go from there."
Do we still have the little what is it? There was a little craft in the back of Awakener. Do we still have that?
Yep.
Cool. That might also come in handy.
Yeah. She says, "Simple plan, not much as far as nothing too complicated or logistically or otherwise. We're not doing any real fancy flying as far as formations or anything like that, so no need to worry. It's pretty much just a run and gun. So." Well, I won't take up any more of your time. Feel free to look over any of the mission details, and she kind of swipes them over to the basically the wall terminal.
We will.
She says, "And we're working together now, so might as well. If you feel like making yourself useful, feel free." She stands up and says, "We'll begin the operation in about 12 hours. Give everybody a chance to rest up."
Then
Sounds good, Captain.
She takes her leave.
She's right to the point, that one.
Yeah.
Well, again,
Is the lieutenant still around?
yeah. Oh, absolutely. She goes,
Okay, cool,
"Oh,
cool.
yeah."
Just make sure.
She's Hot Shot's a bit of a, well, she can be a bit of a brick wall sometimes, but she's very good at what she does, and she's saved at least. She saved everybody in the squadron at least once.
An achievement.
Yeah,
It
that's
is.
what you look for in a captain.
She reminds me of someone I know. Thinking of Wire. A little bit.
Vix leans forward and goes, "All right, wait a minute. So, I'm sorry. I think I may have missed some details, but we're running a blockade?"
Yeah.
And he kind of looks around the table. He says, "You're all okay with this?"
This is what we do.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No. Sure. Mm-hmm.
What's your... Keep going. What's your point?
Oh no, I'm just making sure. I'm having the appropriate reaction. That's all.
Do you want to stay? I'm sure they can let you stay on the derelict, right? And kind of looks at Lieutenant.
Yeah.
You could, right?
He looks over at her. He says, he goes, "You don't happen to have jacuzzi or anything like that?" And she looks at him and goes, "No." He goes, "No, that's all right. I'll stick with the blockade running."
Welcome to the crew, and she'll slap him on the shoulder, and she'll stand up, and invite anyone who wants to show our friend around, our new friend around Awakener.
Yeah.
May come with us.
I'll go as far as my room, and then I need to go and gather some things. But yes, of course.
Yeah, as you're all you're standing up, Alma looks at you and says, "Do you want me to go with you?"
If you'd like to, yeah.
Well, do you want me to go? I mean, I can.
said yeah.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure.
Okay.
God.
Abriel is like Abriel's in the middle of setting her plate down and looks over and she's just, "Oh, good, more of this," and just walks out of the room.
Man.
I'm trying to decide how like oblivious Taeyeon is right now because like Drac.
I think I'm still eating, like
I'm wondering.
Yeah. No, I think Taeyeon would have noticed.
watching.
Yeah.
Yeah, as
I mean,
we're
I could.
like,
No, I'm not gonna. I can always roll to see if I can see things happening, but
I think the oh god was in character.
Yep.
Just quietly.
as we're walking out, Bina's basically like, well, actually, if you want to talk to someone who knows the shit better than anyone, you want to talk to Alma, and basically, it's gonna not sure. Bina does not have has not put any of that together yet, but is just being like, yes, a new friend is excited about a ship that I adore, and this is someone who knows it even better than I do, and so that's kind of how she's gonna start that conversation as they walk out the door.
And Hooligan looks like, "Oh, really?" She's like, "Are you also a pilot?" And Alma says, "When I need to be, yeah."
Bina's not a yes.
She says, "I am." She looks at you, Bina, and then just looks. "I just know the ship really well." And you can tell Hooligan is like, she's intrigued by that statement, but doesn't really know what to make of it. And it's
there's no specifics in that.
It's that kind of look where it's like, but then like basically like that kind of thing where like you can tell she's just sort of like immediately dismissing that because she doesn't know what to do with it. And then continues.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, continues talking your ear off, Bina, about things about the ship as you're walking through. So in the who's still in the galley? As though
I'm still in the galley. I'm probably eating,
Mhm.
finishing up food, and is Taeyeon still there? I'll talk to him if he's still there.
Yeah, no, I'll say, yeah, Taeyeon's still there. I'll have Taeyeon still be there.
Okay. I'm kind of finishing shoveling like a last bite of food in her mouth. So what do you think of these people, Taeyeon?
I mean, I will be honest. It's a bit. I don't want to say a bit too good to be true. They seem like generally nice people. I guess I'm just not used to it being this convenient of having such skilled fighters, so willing to be on our sides. I mean, we talked to most of them like maybe 10, 20 minutes, and they're already willing to dive headfirst into blockades that, for most people, maybe not them, for most people would definitely end in fiery death. I don't know. It's just, I guess maybe it just takes a bit of getting used to. Bina is very hard to say no to, so that just might be a thing I need to get used to as well.
Yeah, she does have a way. She's very good at just getting people to go along with her. It's cool.
Yeah, no, it definitely has its benefits, but I think I just need a bit more time to get used to it.
Yeah, I didn't sense anything nefarious with any of them, but definitely a little bit lucky.
Yeah.
I think that they could be really good recruits.
I mean, if they're willing to go as far as join the resistance, that would definitely be a huge help. Having actually skilled fighters, no offense to the people we do have, but the Scrapyard seems to have a good amount of prowess, at least in their ships. Hopefully they also do maybe in hand-to-hand or armed combat. I think we could use all the help we can get for sure.
I think so too. Go ahead.
Jade leans in. He goes, I mean, it kind of seems like this is what they were here to do anyway. We just maybe provided them with an excuse.
Yeah, I trust them. I do think they'll be good. It's good to have them on our side. I guess it was easier than I expected. I definitely came into this thinking we'll still, probably right now, still be having pirates firing at us. But instead we got suddenly saved by an incredibly skilled set of pilots. It's just the exact opposite of the spectrum that I expected. I think I'm just still recoiling from that, honestly.
Vix chuckles at that and he goes, "Yeah, that's fair. Y'all have had pretty terrible luck with that kind of stuff, historically speaking."
Yeah.
I mean, before we were helped out of that predicament, we did just jump into a huge bunch of pirates, so I think it might break even.
Yeah, I guess so, actually. Yeah, no, I think it's just the universe paying us back.
I mean, even if they're not, recruits, I think they could be good allies if they don't, if this blockade goes as planned.
Yeah, if it goes as planned. I'll be honest, I probably should doubt it, but with Bina as our pilot, I don't think we'll have much trouble getting through. I actually am a bit more worried about the Scrapyard, actually. We've got a pretty incredible ship, and I'm not as much of a ship guru as Bina, but some of these ships aren't great, even by your time standards.
Well, the pilots are supposed to be great, so
Yeah.
if you give a great pilot a tin can, I mean, they might be able to fly it anywhere. I don't know that much about ships. I don't know what the model would be called, but
I really don't know either, actually. But I know that even if you give a great marksman a crappy gun, it might not always go as planned. I think that's what I'm really more worried about. Originally, we were just going in with us in mind, and now we have more.
Have we talked to Wire about this at all yet?
I think you said that you.
I think we sent a message.
Sent a message,
okay, because we definitely, as soon as I got back on the ship, I definitely would have messaged Wire. But now that we have these blockade plans or whatever, I'm gonna forward them over to.
Sure.
Let's just see if she has any input on that.
So, in the interest of time, I'm gonna say no. She does not. She does basically says.
She's like, okay.
It's the best plan you're likely to come up with.
Mostly just wanted to see if she saw anything fishy or like big flaws in the plan, as Wire can do.
All right. So, unless there's anything specifically that anybody wants to do, we will sort of pass time. Anybody have anything that they want to do?
No.
It's not important.
I'll make sure the ship's up to snuff, but other than that.
Okay. We'll say.
Did Drac have something?
Oh, sorry, Drac.
Oh, mine just also maintenance, but mainly his weapons. Because it's still pretty certain we're gonna meet some resistance down on planet's head as well. So he's just gonna breaking apart his gun, making sure everything's cleaned up, nothing can misfire or anything like that.
Jason's probably doing the same thing.
I just want to ask Hooligan her life story, but I don't know if there's time. Before she leaves, I'm just like, so how'd you get here? Where are you from?
Yeah, you know what? We'll say that we can have that scene. We'll say that after sort of taking the whole the tour around the ship, you eventually, Peach, rejoin with the group. Bina going off to make preparations and things like that, and you just you end up sitting kind of in the small seating area that is in the hold, just sitting with Hooligan, and she goes, "Well, it's not that interesting of a story, really. I mean, I was actually in university, going to school for going to school for theoretical physics of all things, but
Wow.
yeah, had one of those moments that everybody talks about where you get one bad score on a test and you suddenly start rethinking your entire life. Well, I don't really do anything halfway, so when I started rethinking my entire life, I really went in a different direction, and I mean, I started starship racing. It's
Wow.
I wasn't.
Were you good?
No, not at all. I was a disaster. It was terrible. I mean, it was so fun. It was probably one of the best experiences I've ever had, but I don't know, it just didn't feel right. And plus I felt like, I don't know, at some point I realized that one of the reasons why I was feeling so unfulfilled is I really wasn't, all of my plans that I'd ever made for myself were exactly that. They were for myself. They were doing everything just looking at my future, and that just, it didn't really satisfy me. And so I joined up with the GHC. Maybe give back, you know?
You're looking for a cause.
Well, I don't know about a cause exactly, but at least some way to make sure that my life had an impact on more than just my life. Anyway, turns out I wasn't exactly too good at, wasn't satisfied with being a desk jockey, so I applied one day for the academy and figured it was a good way of bringing my experience racing into play, and before I knew it, I was acing classes and made it through, and was assigned to the escort wing. Sorry, you asked about where I came from, and here I am just
No, it was interesting. I haven't met a friendly new person in a while, so
yeah.
just wanted to.
She looks kind of out the direction of outside the ship, and she just says, "Oh, I'm very well aware." She says, "How do you think it is out here? It's not exactly the nicest neighborhood in the galaxy."
Yeah, I mean, people come, they want to shoot you. It's
Oh yeah,
it's a whole
pirates
thing,
are.
yeah.
I mean, they move in next door, and suddenly it's all extortion and weapons fire. It's.
And so, are you going to be going in on this blockade with us, or are you stuck here on desk duty?
Oh no, it's all hands on deck for this op.
Good. Well, be glad to have you on my side, hooligan.
Likewise, we don't usually have anyone other than ourselves. It'll be nice to have some outside support for once.
Good to have people you can rely on.
It's why I changed my mind and decided to come join them after all. Anyway, I should probably hit my bunk and get ready.
Okay. Well, see you on the other side.
You can count on it. And she gets up and sort of leaves the ship.
Yay! I learned her life story. I was clicking through the dialogue options. I was like, tell me where you're from.
It's a bit like Amy Dallin playing Mass Effect. Just ask all of the invasive personal questions, and yeah.
I mean, that's not what I was thinking.
All right. So, fast forwarding some time as y'all Y'all get what rest you can. And we're going to cut to the next day as you are sitting now in prepared for the op. Looking out of the Bina looking out of the cockpit window, you can see the scramble on the hangar floor as pilots and crew alike are sort of rushing around the hangar bay, preparing. And when it turns out that when Hooligan said all hands on deck, it was meant literally. And as you are seeing basically the entirety of this whole operation, you're seeing that there's probably about 50 people in total. Most of them are crew. Most of them are flight crew.
I think Bina would have gotten up early because she's Awakener's good as far like she checked it last night. She would have probably gotten up early and found Lainey, was that the name?
Yeah.
And helped on their floor.
Yeah.
Like
so what that looks like. This is worth at least a short scene. As you step out of Awakener onto the hangar floor, walking over towards one of the crew that you see nearby, asking for Lainey. He glances over and says, "Oh, over there," and he points towards one of the dart ships. As you make your way over, you can see that basically like a panel in the ship's fuselage is just like open, and you see is essentially just a pair of legs sticking out as she is just fully inside of in the guts of the starship. And you can see that you don't see any, you just see legs as you approach.
Hello. Are you Lainey?
Yeah. Could you do me a favor? Would you hand me that spanner out there?
Yep. And she'll pass it in.
She said thanks. Takes it and just after a moment, after a few minutes, you see that she reaches out and pulls herself out, and you see a pretty young human woman. She has sort of light brown skin and jet black hair that she has currently up in just sort of like messy bun. And as she climbs out, she looks at you and says, "Oh yeah, you're one of the new yeah." Just what? Sorry, what do you need? What can I do?
Well, I just wanted to see if there's anything I could do for you. We did all our checks last night, and I have 4 hands. Pretty quick with my set of tools. She opens up her like strap bag that goes over, and it's full of all of her shit. And I can until we're ready to go, I'm all yours if you need some help.
Oh yeah. I mean, I think we have everything mostly locked down here. But you can. She kind of like. She sort of steps back and looks you up and down, like sort of sizing you up, and then she says, She like turns around, closes the panel, sort of sealing it back in place, and then goes over to her like tool chest that she has sort of set over to the side, opens it up, starts putting some stuff back, and then reaches in, and pulls out a gun that has a large cylinder attached onto the back end of it. As she looks at you and says, "How good are you with a paint gun?"
I don't know. Only one way to find out.
All right. She says, "I'm not just the crew chief around here." She hands you the paint gun, reaches in, grabs another one. She says, "I'm also responsible for this." She like points to the
Dazzle camo. Yeah.
She says, "All right, let's see. How attached are you to your clothes?"
They're like her work garb.
Yeah.
I'm good.
All right. Are you sure? Because I'm sure we have a jumpsuit in your size.
I have about 12 just like this.
Great. She turns around and just starts. All right, just get over. And she starts like directing you around, sort of. Yeah. All right. So, we'll cut a little bit ahead as you once again are sitting in the cockpit, watching all the activity outside. Before too long, you've been hearing kind of chatter, like pre-flight chatter, having been patched into their frequency. You hear the major's voice come over comms, and just hear, "All right, Scrapyard. Mission parameters set. All wings report in." And you just start hearing them just like signing off, basically like you hear, "Hotshot ready. Whisper ready. Shorty ready. Zippy here ready. Hooligan on board. Dive bomb ready. Killjoy here ready. Hightail ready. Wobbler standing by. Screech on board. Comet ready."
And when they finish, Venus like vibrating through all of it, and she goes, "Awakener, ready when you are."
"All wings set and ready to go. Prepare for launch." And you see as one by one fighters start sort of rising up just above the hangar, and starting to just launching one by one out of the single cargo bay door. And as Awakener takes up the rear and begins sort of following after.
When we're headed out, I want to go over comms on the ship. I mean, I don't know who's all in the cockpit with us, or is it just like are all?
That is actually a good thing for y'all to decide right now, because there are
where everyone's sitting.
Yeah.
I want to be on weapons.
Okay.
Yeah. I just got a quick question, actually, now that I think about it. I'm assuming the weapons on the ship are different from like large or like medium weapons that you'd have handheld.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
They ship combat works a little differently. So there's not so much in terms of like damage in terms of numbers. It's largely damage as far as systems on an enemy ship that uses system damage. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, no, I think Taran would be on weapons if Mason's cool with that. I know Mason was on weapons just before.
Do we only have one weapons terminal?
There's the main gun, which has been upgraded, which can be operated either from the bridge, from the weapons station, or it can be operated on site, which is like on the lowest deck.
No, I think Taran will be on site.
Okay.
He wants to be able to be right there and see what's going on
Sounds
from
good.
that vantage point.
All right.
And then Mason can be up there for backup in case of whatever down below.
You can absolutely set the controls so that you can actually have like basically like a spotter and a gunner. Like you can set them that way.
Yeah.
I think I'll be better at spotting, to be honest.
All right. So Mason is on the bridge. Bina is piloting in the pilot's chair.
I would like to get Ada Sprix up here on sensors if possible, as well. Just because, or maybe not even sensors, just something up. Like if Ada Sprix was up with us too, she's good at computers.
Yeah. Here's the thing about Ada is that she's not gonna be particularly useful when it comes to like.
Then she can go hang out.
This.
That's all right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can be the extra kind of hand in the cockpit if you need me to scan anything or.
Yeah, if you want to sit at scanners.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. You can probably take up the. You could probably take up the like, what is essentially like the comms and scanning basically, which for the purposes of this, by the way, if for the purposes of like maneuvers and stuff like that, would come under the same purview of like science and engineering. So for the stuff that
I was pulling that chart up.
It would all like comms is definitely under that. It's just that Awakener doesn't have a dedicated science or engineering station. So yeah.
Cool.
As we're leaving the hangar bay, I do want to get Taeyeon on comms so that he's part of a conversation. We can all I can talk to everyone at
everybody's
once.
basically patched in at this point, so.
But basically, I just want to kind of be like, okay, so I know they were gonna do this anyways, but they are doing this because we're here. So watch their back too. I know they're getting us in, but I want to make sure to get as many of them out as we can.
Yeah. We'll make sure we can get them through safe as well.
And then we exit the hangar bay.
Okay. Sounds good. So you hold on, let me do a thing here real quick.
Let's go.
All right. Whoops. All right.
Ooh.
So, you leave the derelict along with all of Scrapyard Squadron. They immediately sort of form into sort of a loose wedge formation with Awakener at the center. As you,
That's a violating task. I can do that.
yeah, yeah.
Fly information.
Mm-hmm. So, you shoot towards the planet, kind of all in formation. Largely, chatter is low. Like, there's basically like just little quick navigation checks and stuff that they throw back and forth to each other. You're getting a front seat view to Scrapyard Squadron and how well they operate together, as few of requiring few words seemingly to make complex adjustments in formation. As you arrive, you can see as you get closer and closer to the planet, you can see where there are small dots that of basically the silhouettes of the fighters that are sort of flying ahead of you, between you and the planet. There's a beat as you notice them, and then over the comms you hear Hooligan. All right, looks like they're starting to become aware of us. And then you hear the Major's voice come over and say, "All right, everyone, weapons hot, stand by." All right, go. And you see as everybody just sort of accelerates towards the planet, which means we need a bit of a change here in the music. So we are going to, as per our sort of modifications to our own combat, the way that we handle combat, we're going to ignore initiative here. As Scrapyard Squadron, all 11 fighters, mismatched, brightly and loudly colored, flying in formation with Awakener at the center towards the planet. You see as several of the pirate raiders break off and start sort of forming, maneuvering to intercept. Basically, you the whole formation starts reaching to the point where they are reaching weapons range, and as soon as that happens, you hear the Major's voice. "Weapons free, let's go. Everybody, see you planet side." And you see as an opening salvo of missiles just leave all of the fighters of Scrapyard Squadron simultaneously and just sort of streak out. You see as they flying towards the swarm of enemy fighters that are coming, and you are rewarded with the sight of several blossoming orange flaming balls as the fighters begin maneuvering around, flying towards each other. So,
Wow.
you see immediately as Scrapyard Squadron begins engaging with the enemy fighters, as they're darting around them, they are flying in a pattern that, Bina, you would immediately recognize is designed to confuse and disorient their opponents. and to sort of separate them a little bit. And for the most part,
Dazzle camo sure doesn't help.
oh, definitely not. All right, so Mina, what are you doing?
I mean, if our instructions are just to get through, I mean, for piloting, I'm going to stay out of, I mean, weapons fire is ideal, but also make sure that we're in a place in which my gunners can take off some shots as well, because we're helping.
Mm-hmm.
We're not just using them for cover. We want to be useful. So.
Okay. Sounds good. So, actually, if I remember, I just realized that I remembered how we adjusted combat. Is that I am automatically we're not rolling for initiative. I just automatically assume Mason goes first, no matter what.
Oh yeah.
Because Mason is fast enough that will almost always be
Oh,
true.
is it?
He always goes
Yeah.
first.
That will almost
Oh,
always
is that
be true
so?
without rolling. So,
Wait, really?
so.
I mean, I'm trained in initiative. I don't know.
Fair.
Yeah, no.
I'm just here to
way
help.
faster.
I'm here to help
Okay.
Taeon make some pretty precise
So,
shots
if you
possible.
want, then what you can do is you can spend your turn assisting, and that'll give Taeon an asset.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. At least for the first round here.
Sure.
Let's see how that feels.
All right, sounds good. Well then, you're after Mason. I'm gonna go ahead and say that this is the point where the enemy fighters basically close with you and start and they intercept Awakener. So, the first few of them open fire at Awakener, sending a stream of projectiles. You can see the swarm of tracer rounds starting to come towards you. So, Bina, I need you to make a roll. This is a piloting check. This is essentially, I think I'm counting this as a speed defense. So yeah, this is speed defense. The difficulty of this is going to be, hold on, I'm doing math here. That is, the difficulty of this is going to be 4, is that true? Yeah, 4, the difficulty of that is going to be 4.
Okay. And I'm not going to do evasive maneuvers that test, because then it makes it harder for my friends to attack on their turn, so I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to do it just a standard defense. So, piloting?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do I get any assets from Alma, my co-pilot, or the ship itself?
Not in this
I do
instance.
sometimes,
Not in
and
this
sometimes I
instance,
don't, so I
think
always ask.
Yeah, no, I don't
Okay.
think so in this instance.
Tasks involving sight.
You know what? The thing is, probably, yes.
Alright, that's it.
Okay.
Such a good one to be trained in.
All right, cool. So you reduce it down. You want to roll anyway?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a 6 or 9? 6. Got it.
6? Okay.
6.
Well, yeah. So, as that stream of projectiles comes towards Awakener, Bina, it's basically like a spiral pattern of weapons fire. You take Awakener, just sort of spiral along with it. So basically, it's like avoid or count in the opposite way, spiraling the opposite way. Just sort of like corkscrewing Awakener through the weapons fire. Basically taking no hits or minimal glancing shots that don't do any damage whatsoever. Cool. So, it is now up to you to decide who goes next. Y'all get to decide here.
Do you guys want to go with the guns first? Is that?
I mean, Peach could scan and see if there's any others on us, and then we could aim.
Okay, yeah, I can go. I can go ahead and do a
Planning
scan. I'll go ahead and do a scan.
Set up our just everyone set
Yeah.
up the gunner.
I'm
I think that
booting up
works.
the booting up the computer. No, it would have been on already.
You're like, damn it, it has to update right now.
Oh, Windows
an update
update.
right now. Gosh.
Remind me later. Remind me later. Scan to see if there are any people gonna pop out where we don't want them to, and
All right. So yeah, so you're running the. Oops, sorry, that's not what I wanted to pull up.
The scan feature in science. Yeah. What do I have to do for that?
This is going to be just sort of a basic task. This is going to be an intellect task. It's going to be a difficulty 3 intellect task. And you will get an asset from the ship on this one, so it drops down to a 2 automatically.
Okay, and then I have a free level of effort for intellect.
Okay.
And then.
So difficulty 1.
I'm gonna spend a level of effort because it'd be embarrassing if I can't scan. So I'm gonna.
Fair enough.
I'm gonna spend a level.
All right. So you want to roll anyway?
Yeah.
Cool.
I haven't rolled yet today. I rolled a 19.
So that's actually
wait.
that is a minor effect. So.
Whoa.
Oh.
So, yeah, I mean, feel free to suggest stuff, Olivia, if you've got anything.
Can I tell, like, with the scanning, can I tell? I know they have, like, all this high-tech stuff from corpses. Are there any, like, kind of hiding where we might not normally see them? Like, are they...
No,
you know?
but I will tell you what you do find. You actually, with that minor effect, I'll tell you that you're able to scan and basically get a full layout of, like, where enemy ship positionings are. But in addition to that, you also catch a signal that you weren't like at first you're like, what is that? And as you start kind of looking a little closer into it, you can tell that is a signal from what is very likely, like, Awakener's scanners has essentially identified the advanced detection system that the pirates have been using. It is coming from a ship. It's not a fighter. You're seeing what looks to be sort of a here's the it's a good news bad news situation. The bad news is that it's coming from a gunship.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
A ship a little smaller than Awakener that is positively bristling with weaponry.
Mason, Taeon, you might want to target. I'm gonna just relay that information.
Sure,
I'm
yeah.
just gonna relay that.
Yeah.
All right. Targeting Porcupine.
Yeah.
Could we also ask Alma to relay that to our ships, like our
Sure.
Yes.
the squadron?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Looks like.
Damn, 19. Okay, I need to follow up that. Is it my turn next?
Yeah, up to you guys.
Yeah, you can take it. Go for it.
Yeah. Okay.
I
So
saw
I'm gonna. How far away is this?
The gunship
gunner
has not moved, so the gunship has not engaged. The gunship is still, so
Okay.
it's a little bit out of range right now. You could
Okay, cool.
not out of range. You could make the shot, but it'd be really difficult.
I mean, I'm willing to try it.
All right.
You have several assets helping you here.
All right.
Yeah.
No one set you up for this shot.
Hold on. Let me rearrange my space here so I can actually fit stuff like the rules. Give me a sec. All right.
I feel like Mason's like the like giving longitude, wind direction for like a sniper right now.
Yeah. I was like aiming it, making sure I'm taking into account and drop and everything.
Like aim for Porcupine, and then you guys are like, it's just the three people going into one shot.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
I don't even know why I called it Porcupine. That was.
I don't know, but I like
think it's
it.
great. It
I think
works.
it's a perfect name.
I think because Lucas
Yeah.
said it's bristling with weapons, and I just instantly thought of like porcupine. Like,
Yeah, that makes
Yeah.
sense.
No, I think it fits.
I like it.
I literally imagine like a ship with just guns like everywhere.
That's what I'm thinking.
Spinning through space, just like, oh shit.
All right. Yeah. Okay. So, what are you doing, Tan?
Aiming for that gunship.
Okay.
I'm aiming for Porcupine.
All right.
I'm gonna take out one of its. No, I'm
Is
not
there
gonna take out its
anything I
weapons
could
because
do
that would.
if I took my turn first to make it easier?
Up to you guys.
I think the best thing you can do is bring us closer, but I think that'll also like probably put us in range of more guns firing at us. I don't know.
Okay, we'll stay under current check. You go for
Yeah.
it. See if you can get it.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna fire it.
Alright.
I'm gonna try and take out his weapons, disable its
Weapons?
weapons, which is apparently a thing I can
Yes. Okay. So, so that interesting. Okay, so yeah, so the difficulty on that, given that it's actually going to be a difficulty 8 task.
Okay. So I've got
it's just so that we are all aware of where it's coming from. It's 2 for the hindrance for targeting weapons, and then additional 2 hindrance for range.
Okay. And a 4. Okay, cool. I think I can do that. I got 1 asset from Peach and 1 asset from Mason.
I don't think Peach
It's not-
gives.
You're gonna count that.
I don't have that.
But I
Okay,
did
cool.
report the location exactly.
Sure,
Does that help?
but consider
exact
that without the location, he wouldn't even be able to do this. So
I know.
Yeah, that's a
I
good point.
know.
No, I'll accept that.
so you've got an asset from Mason
okay.
currently.
Mhm.
Yeah. I took accuracy as a power shift.
Cool.
So all attack rolls are easy by 1.
All right, so that brings you
Um,
down to a 6, difficulty 6 right now.
Something else. No, I don't think I have anything else. So that brings down to a 6.
That's an 18 or better.
This is a speed defense roll, right? I mean, speed is
It's a speed roll, yeah.
Task.
Speed
Yeah,
task.
speed task roll. Okay.
Do you have a free level of effort?
It's not free, but I'll do it. I still have to spend 1 level of speed, 1
Okay.
speed.
So it brings it
And
down
that-
to a 5. So 15 or better.
I want to go one more time.
Okay.
1 more level of
All
effort.
right, 12 or better. Difficulty 4 task.
Yeah. I think I can do
Okay.
that.
There's no. Oh yeah. I wish I could help.
I am going to use an experience to reroll.
All right.
Because I rolled a 1.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Re-roll that.
That's better. I rolled a 19 this time. It's infinitely better.
that's a minor effect there.
Yes. 2 in a row.
So
Yeah,
Erasing the 1.
The XP erased it. It's fine.
yeah.
He rewound time. It was fine.
yeah, I missed. I'm like, oh shit, let me go. No. After the news that he heard, he's not rewinding time.
All right, yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, so Taeyeon,
My
you
bad.
take a moment, you line up the shot and watch as the telemetry from Mason's station comes in, and you turn and sort of aiming the gun, you wait and seeing fighters swarming in between you and the gunship, and you take a second and you just wait for that perfect moment, and as soon as you see a break in kind of the swarm in front of you, you take the shot, firing, lining it up perfectly, and you watch as an explosion sort of rocks the gunship. You can see debris that just sort of floats away from the gunship as one of its weapons just fully detached from the vessel.
Sick.
I have an ability.
Mhm.
that I was. It's called rapid attack. Once per round, I can make an additional attack. I want to shoot them again.
Okay, keep in mind you also have a minor effect, so just keep that in mind.
Oh,
as
that's
well.
true. Okay. What? I can't think of a minor effect. What are examples of minor effects again?
Basically just sort of a sort of minor advantage, something like
Disable something about it for maybe a moment or two.
if you were in combat with a person, a minor effect might be to daze or stagger an opponent.
We distract.
Distract, yeah, is also
vessels or something with that explosion, with that big shot.
Could I momentarily disable its defenses if it has any? I don't know if it does. For that round or turn.
I don't know that is covered under a minor effect.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. I would take it dazed, I guess. Maybe the shot sent it spinning a bit and it's dazed.
Sure.
Could it ease the next attack? Could it give you an I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know about that. I'll say I like
Yeah.
okay, here's basically what happens. Here, as you disable its this one of its weapon systems, you watch as sort of ionic charge just sort of spiders across the surface, and basically just nothing. Very clearly, nothing particularly damaging, but you can see that it's just sort of discharge from some of the like systems overloading. So what you're basically seeing right now is that some of their sensors are probably scrambled at the moment.
Okay. I want to capitalize on that and use my rapid attack and shoot one more
go
time.
for it.
And I'm aiming for another one of their weapons.
Sounds good. It'll be the same, because that like sensors thing is more going to affect its attacking you. So yeah.
You know, that makes sense. Okay. So I have 1 on accuracy. From accuracy power shift. I'm assuming Mason's asset was used up for that first attack. So I'll use
I'm gonna say
wondering about
no
that too.
in this instance, because it's still. Yeah, I'm gonna say you can still use that.
Okay, so I got 2. 1 from accuracy, 1 from Mason. I'm gonna use a level of effort again. That takes it down to 5.
Yes.
And I'm gonna use another level of effort because I'm not risking it.
All right.
So that takes it down to a 4, and I'll roll
All right,
that.
12 or better.
I don't have much speed. I am built for hand-to-hand combat. Oh, thank God, 15.
All right.
Nice.
Yeah, you fire again, and you watch as another
Rolls
explosion
tonight.
just sort of blossoms on the surface, with yet more debris just sort of floating away.
Good
Check out
shot.
some of Porcupine's weapons. Not so bristly anymore.
Good job.
Yeah.
Good one.
All right. So, I think that leaves Bina. Bina, it is your turn.
Yeah.
What would you like to do?
She's gonna, I think, just try to we're just gonna keep moving,
Mhm.
and if she sees a position to move in, to keep us in a more advantageous position, she'll do that. But I want to do the study enemy flying task, where I spend 1 round watching enemy tactics, and so the next piloting task is ease, because, I don't know, something wild and funky might happen, and I want to make sure that I know what's happening. So she's going, but she's keeping an eye out, kind
Okay.
of. Watching how they're moving and trying to get a feel for how they fly.
Yeah. Sorry, let me just making sure. Okay. This is gonna be.
There's no hindrance on
Yeah,
this one.
yeah. So this is actually just gonna be a difficulty. Actually, this is a difficulty 0 task, is what it is. This is a difficulty 0.
Oh great! Let me just quick lower it for 6 points.
Yeah.
Negative
No, it's a difficulty 0.
6.
So like you could basically just do this, but
Do it.
Do you
Okay,
do you
cool.
want to roll? Because if you roll, you could potentially gain more insight. But
Yeah, I'm gonna
Yeah.
roll. Fingers crossed.
Okay.
I'm really pushing it tonight, you guys. 15.
Sorry, what would you roll?
15.
Okay, so yeah, you don't get any additional thing from that, but you are able to successfully study the tactics of the swarm of fighters, and you're
Yeah,
noticing.
I'm getting how they
Yeah.
move, how they interact with each other, and what their maneuvers
You're
are. And stuff.
noticing-
And she just wants to know.
You're definitely noticing patterns, but it looks like their tactics right now are fully centered around swarm tactics. They're not really
Okay.
flying in any particular formation or anything like that.
Yeah.
They're just swarming.
Yeah.
Also, Valdrian, thank you so much for the raid. Welcome. Hello.
Thank you.
Good to see you. Okay, so yeah, so you can tell that basically what they're focused on right now is just overwhelming Scrapyard, Squadron, and Awakener with just sheer numbers, because they have them. They have
Yeah.
quite a lot. Like just in a quick glance, you
Does anyone on our side look like they're in trouble? That would probably also.
everybody looks like they're kind of holding their own right now.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, with just sort of the occasional hotshot. Watch your 6. Copy that. Zippy, cover me. And you basically just are hearing like all the chatter going around. And yeah, no, mostly they look like they're doing okay, holding their own.
Sweet.
As you said, some of the best pilots in the galaxy. So, that's your turn. All right. Which will bring us back to actually.
It does go back to Mason's
It
turn,
does.
doesn't
It does.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
no, you know what? We'll go ahead, Mason. It is your turn. What would you like to do?
Well, let's see. What do we know about Porcupine so far? It's got a lot of weapons. Was it also have some other feature to it? I thought another
It's
feature that was like a blocking feature or something.
Well, it's what's blocking the
It's the sensors. They
Yeah.
have the high sensors,
sensors
right?
that can detect the stealth
Mhm.
technology
Right,
that's been
right.
causing issues.
Is there any way that I could study that and try to like target that system specifically as giving,
Hmm.
and then giving the gunner Taeon a leg up, but I'm
There's a
also like
There's
doing
a tactical scan.
is that what that is?
I don't know.
I
if
have
that's
not
what
the
you're
wrong
looking
one.
for.
I have that. It's that it says learn the level, but I don't. That could
Oh,
be
okay.
changed.
I'm looking at PC weapon system options
Oh,
Yeah.
because that looks like something more of what I would be doing
Yeah.
here, like disable
Yeah,
or
yeah.
strike power core and vital spot, for instance.
Right. So basically, right now, the way that this goes is like you could theoretically take control of half of Awakener's weapon systems, while Taeon controls the other half, or you could continue just providing assistance to Taeon while he controls all of it. The difference here,
Yeah.
basically to explain, the trade-off here is that more attacks per round if you are both firing, but more precise shots if you assist.
That's kind of where I was leaning towards. So I'm going to continue with the assist.
Okay. Sounds
All right.
good. Then
I don't know why I'm going like this. That's not how this works. We're not in the submarine.
All right.
We're gonna-
Then here's what I'm gonna do, Freeman. I'm gonna offer you a GM
Yes.
intrusion.
Well, I'll try anything one. No, yes, I take it.
So go ahead and take the XP and offer the other one to somebody else of your choice.
Ooh, gosh. I mean, Taeon, you gotta make the shot. So Taeon,
Okay,
I think.
sounds good.
Oh, thank
so,
you.
Yeah.
as you, Mason, you start like running the calculations, sort of doing the spotting for setting up Taeon's next shot. You watch as the weapons display. You watch as it flashes red as the weapon system has locked up.
Oh, like our weapon system?
Yep, your weapon system has locked
Oh.
up. Basically
Oh.
the rotation on the gun has jammed. Like it's not turning.
We need some elbow grease or something here. Our guns are jammed. What's going on?
I see what's going on down from where I
Yeah,
am.
what essentially has happened from your end, Taeon, is that the controls for the gun have become unresponsive.
Nothing's working on my end. I
I could
don't know why.
try to reconfigure it from up here, and I'm
shouting, Jade!
I'm gonna try to
Right.
look on the computers and reconfigure station.
Sure, on your turn,
which is
because
the-
their turn
yeah.
comes first.
Oh damn! Sorry.
Yep.
Yeah.
Beana's yelling for Jade.
I
into
keep
the comms.
forgetting they get to go.
Yeah.
Man, it sucks when the enemy gets a turn. I hate it
Uh.
when the enemy gets a turn.
Bamboozle.
Yeah. So
Who made that?
you watch as the fighters swarm. They having kind of lost Awakener for a second with that corkscrew maneuver that Bina pulled. You see as they basically reform. Several of them like just on the tail of Awakener, chasing you down, and they open fire. This time with a small missile salvo. So, Bina, this is going to be a defense roll, a speed defense roll.
Yep.
The difficulty of which is actually going to be higher. The difficulty of this one is going to be 7.
Sweet.
Piloting.
Yep.
Tasks that involve sight.
Less useful in this instance.
Cool.
Yeah, so I don't think that
I have it
I
at-
don't think that's going to come into play. So.
Because I observed them, I get an asset to my next piloting check.
Mhm. Oh,
I get any
I'm
assistance?
wondering, will that come into play here, or is that more, because this is sort of more of a defensive, sort of evasive
It
stuff.
says my next piloting task.
Sure, yeah, yeah.
Spend 1 round watching enemy tactics. The next piloting task is eased.
yeah, no.
I assume by 1.
Sure. Yeah. I assume that if it doesn't say, then it's just by 1, so.
Yeah, so piloting by 1, assist. Do I get any help from my co-pilot or my ship?
In this case, yes, because this time it's the missiles they're seekers basically. So like in this case, it's gonna be more useful to have systems and things like that assisting you. So yeah, I'm gonna say you get an asset from the ship,
Okay.
or
On
actually co-pilot
a-
in this case. It's co-pilot. So
Co-pilot, yeah. On a defense task, can I do a piloting maneuver, or do I have to do that on my own turn?
I think that's on your turn.
Okay, cool. Just
Yeah.
wanted to double check. And then I'm going to spend 2 speed and then roll.
Okay, what's the total of the roll? I sort of lost track.
It brings it down to 2.
Difficulty 2. Okay, so you just need a 6 or better.
Piloting. Help. Spending 2. 2 left. Yes, just needed to make
Okay.
sure. 13. Okay, down to 6 or better.
Yep, 6 or better.
I should have brought it down 1 more. That's a 3.
Okay. All right.
Wait, I want to give you my XP. I'll give you an XP.
Are you sure?
Yes, take
yeah.
my XP.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Go ahead and
Try
reroll.
again. Whew.
Oh no.
Ew.
I have another XP.
Do you
No,
want
no,
I
I'll
can.
take-
Do you
give
want to
me-
re-roll?
I have XP too. It's okay.
Mhm.
I'm just I don't want to spend all of our resources with this. I feel like we're very early in the fight. If we're gonna take a couple of hits, we're gonna take a couple of hits.
Okay. I mean, I guess it's a good point.
That's true.
I'll spend 1, and then we'll go from there. But if we get hit, we get hit. Like we're not gonna spend any more on this one.
Okay. So you're
Fair.
rerolling. Okay.
Yeah, 1 more. Last one. 12.
12. Okay. So, you you basically, in this instance, I think it's appropriate that, like, in such close quarters, in this combat, and it is a very densely packed battlefield. There's really nowhere for you to go. Like, normally you'd probably be able to outrun these missiles, let them sort of burn themselves out. But right now there's nowhere to go. So
Yeah.
in this instance, Bina, you just fly closer to some of the enemy ships. Just skimming right, like, just terrifyingly close to some of them, pulling right past them. In one case, even you can feel, like, as the ship lurches, as you, like, scrape the bottom of the fuselage of one of the fighters. And as you do this, pulling this maneuver, you can see as Alma in the co-pilot seat next to you just flinches. As behind you, you can see, like, explosions sort of ballooning out behind you as the missiles lose, like, they don't have that kind of precise targeting, so they basically fall locked onto your drive signature and then just suddenly veer off, striking enemy ships.
Nice.
You manage to lose them between the enemy ships and debris clouds. The missile salvo affects nothing. Right.
See, we cut it close when I can't use my eyes. When I'm not allowed to use my eyeballs for tasks.
All right.
It's less close.
Who is going next?
What are we looking at? What are we still being, like, bombarded? Like,
yeah,
what's
you're
the
you're
current
moving
status?
ever closer to the planet, occasionally having to, like, you're still being swarmed, because Bina, basically you took your last turn to just sort of observe, so you're still kind of being swarmed. There's plenty of fighters between here and the planet, but yeah.
I believe Peach was going to try to
Yeah, I was
fix-
gonna try to, like, reset just from, like, my computer terminal, try to reset kind of the weapon systems. Would this be, like, I'm trying
to decide, would this be more reconfigure station? It says changes the systems the station controls. Could that just be like a reboot, or
No,
I'm a little
that would be repurposing the station that you're at for something else.
Oh, okay. So then it would be like affect
Yeah.
repair, basically. Okay, and it said that sometimes I can do it from my station, and
Yeah,
sometimes
this
not,
one
so.
is probably, given what you've heard, this is probably not a mechanical issue, so you can do it from the station.
Okay. Okay. Cool.
So, yeah. All right, so
There's no there's no hindrance for
right,
that.
so it's just right now. I'm just gonna set it at the difficulty of like the difficulty at the level of the ship. So this is gonna be a difficulty 4 task. This will
Okay.
be an intellect task.
Okay. Does my power shift in intelligence help with this at
I think
all?
so. I'm pretty sure it does.
Yeah.
I was
Oh.
looking in the book trying to find out specifically what intelligence did for so long
Yeah, I
before
have
this
it.
scene. I could not find it
I'm
anywhere.
almost
I
here.
have it. Intelligence is intellect defense rolls and all knowledge, science, and crafting tasks.
Yeah, this counts. Yep.
Okay. Okay. Cool.
I screenshot everything. I didn't even type. I
Thank
just
you,
screenshot all of my
guys.
abilities.
Excellent.
Okay, and then level of effort.
Okay.
And so, what is it? Difficulty 2 now?
Yes, I think so. So
Yeah.
you only have one power shift in intellect, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Mhm.
difficulty 2. So you need a 6 or
Okay.
better right now.
I'm gonna just roll.
Sounds good.
18.
Ooh, all right. So yeah,
Nice.
you quickly run a few diagnostics, and note a slight, basically there's like a flawed system that, or subroutine that just wasn't firing, and you do a very quick like reboot of the system, and Taeyeon, you suddenly regain control of the
Steady. Steady.
Okay.
of the gun control.
I don't know
You're
what
all
you did,
good?
but yep, I'm all good.
This is kind of fun.
All right.
You're all set.
Bina or Taeyeon, whoever wants to go.
You go first. I'm about to make it really hard to fire.
Oh god. Yeah, no, I'll go first then. I'm
Okay.
just gonna. I took some shots on the gun. I let them know that I know they're there. So I'm gonna deal with the ones that are directly around us now. I'm just gonna fire on the like closest one, the one that's causing us the most trouble right now.
So one of the fighters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, how bad did the other ship look damaged?
It looks like superficial damage, but like you'd have
Okay,
disabled
that's
2 of
fine.
its weapon systems, so there's that.
Yeah.
Good.
I'm definitely gonna target again, but when we're a bit
definitely
closer.
forgot to have the gunship go, but go ahead and continue. Go ahead and do your turn. And then
I mean, if the gunship wants to get closer, I'm not gonna complain. 'Cause that makes it 2 steps easier for me. No, yeah, I'm just gonna fire on the ones that the closest one to us.
okay,
right
sounds
now.
good.
I'm one of the fighters. So I already got accuracy.
Oh, the difficulty on this is actually not true. I actually think that I'm pretty sure firing on the fighters is a difficulty 0. I'm reasonably
Oh,
certain.
okay.
Nice.
Well, in that case, I'm gonna need rapid attack
Okay.
and shoot them
Yeah.
twice.
So just do you want to roll?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll roll. Do I roll both
Yeah.
times? Can I roll
Yeah,
twice for both attacks? Okay.
Get
I
him.
mean, you
It was
you
a
can
6 and a
decide
12.
if you roll twice. You don't have to roll for both of them.
I'm always
Okay.
gonna roll. A 6 and a 12.
Okay, perfect.
so,
Yeah. You
Shoot
like as
the
you
shit.
immediately gain control back to the weapon systems, and you rapidly like swivel to one side, fire off just a short burst at one of the fighters that's doing a strafing run, and before it can even open fire, it just you're rewarded with just like a sudden burst of flame, and then it quickly swiveling around the other direction, firing at another one that was just about to start a pass, taking that one down too. Bina, your thanks to Taeyeon's quick firing, you have an opening in the swarm.
Let's fucking take it,
All right.
man. Let's go. Let's increase separation.
Okay, sounds good.
Let's get farther out. Let's get away from these motherfuckers. Actually, would it take a whole action just to make sure that none of our allies are in trouble right now?
No, not to observe that. No.
Okay, I just want to see if they're good and if I can help
Sure.
first.
Excuse me. I tell you what. I haven't rolled a die in a really long time because the Cypher GMs don't roll dice. So I'm gonna.
That's so true. Wow. Yeah, you haven't rolled for a very long time.
I don't even have a rolling surface ready.
Oh my
I
god.
don't even know where my dice went.
Dice? I didn't even know that was this type of game.
We're just throwing candy at our desks every time.
Oh, seriously.
Yeah, I'm just making up a number.
Okay, so you actually do see that it looks like. Ooh, where's my list? That would make it. You can see one of the fighters, one of Scrapyard Squadron, the one designated Screech, is currently trying to shake the pursuit of a couple of fighters that are just relentlessly on their tail.
I want to do something stupid. How much space do they have between them and the other the pursuers?
Sorry, say that again.
Like, how much space would you say is between our Scrapyard fighter and their pursuers?
But,
like, how big is
this specific one between Screech and their pursuers?
Yes.
Pursuit?
Yeah.
It's.
Can I want to zip through that and try to disperse the pursuers.
Yeah,
'cause I want to freak them
you
out.
could certainly
Get them to pull back.
Yeah, no, there's space enough for that. Absolutely. Yeah. So you divert course. So that.
I think that would be probably a red line maneuver.
I think you're absolutely correct. So go ahead. You
no
yeah.
hindrance. I just do
you
something
need to
stupid.
spend 1 XP for that to initiate
Yeah.
red line. So now, just so everybody's aware, Caitlin, by spending this XP, has unlocked red line maneuvers for everybody, which means that you basically get what you can declare a red line maneuver, which will ease the difficulty of a task by 1 step. However, it will also raise the complication range. I believe it's by 3. So right now the complication is 1 to 3, like our GM intrusion is 1 to 3.
Oh wait, so you have to get a 9 or above to not get a complication?
No. Sorry. So
1 to 3 on the
1 to 3
dice.
on the die.
Oh, on the dice.
Because normally it's 1. It's natural 1.
Okay, yeah.
So like
Yeah.
it's 1 to 3 now is where the GM intrusion is, which means that you could
Cool.
very easily succeed on a task but still get an intrusion. So
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Really,
I want to
be in
do
our
something
favor.
stupid. I haven't done it. Let's
Alright.
do it.
Let's
So,
do this.
this is
Yeah.
I don't want to lose any of these fuckers. They're cool, and we're here, and that's why they're doing this.
So
with us,
Bina,
I
you
wanna make sure they're okay.
divert course and just swerve over towards where you can see Screech is struggling. Awakener,
I just want to get them to like all
Yeah.
pull off and scatter. Like that's
So,
I want to freak them out. That's kind of what I want to do.
in that case, you
My intention.
Yeah. So this is going to be a this would be a difficulty 3. No, it wouldn't even be that. It'd be difficult. So actually, yeah, you know what? You're not even really making use of the easement of the red line here because this would be a difficulty 0 normally. So, yeah, go ahead and describe this to me.
Are you gonna roll anyway?
I might. We'll see. I'm gonna spend 2 XP on this, possibly. Let's do it. Let's
Okay.
roll. 19.
Are you?
Yes.
So many 19s
All right,
tonight.
so that's a minor effect you got there.
Yeah,
Maybe we should roll more often.
If anyone has ideas for minor effects, let me know. So what I think, so basically, I think we'll say they're like kind of just below us, off to the right or whatever. And she's gonna make her scan, thinking about like, okay, maybe I can do some evasive, whatever. They've already attacked. But wait, friends need help. So she's gonna kind of time it out and see like this gap like opening and closing between the pursuers, and she basically just dive bombs straight through, and she plunges through the gap just before these guys, and they all kind of, and it causes everyone to peel back to not hit her and scramble that swarm so that Screech
Yeah.
can get out in a way.
Yeah. So basically, the way I imagine this, right, taking place is like
It's like
the
chicken.
if we were
Don't
like
play
watching a
chicken
movie, it
with
was
Luna.
basically like the camera following behind the fighter swarm that's like following Screech, and then all of a sudden from like off camera, just Awakener, a wall that is just Awakener just whoosh, flies right down in front of them.
It just kind of like turns back up, going back the
Yeah,
direction we were
just-
going, kind of in
yeah,
like an arc.
They scatter. And I'll go ahead and say that one of the minor effects here is that they have to just react. So essentially, two of them like actually like collide and go spinning off of each other.
Yes!
Like they go spinning off
Yes!
of each other, and others have to then avoid them as well. Yeah.
Can't fire a gun, but I can sure fucking do that.
Yeah. You hear over the comms, "Holy shit. Thanks, Awakener. All clear."
I gotcha.
And yeah. All right. So, I'm going to actually have the gunship go now because I forgot to do that last time.
Yeah.
The gunship
Oh, here it
basically
is.
pulls around and starts making for Awakener. Right now, at this point, Awakener, due to that maneuver, what I'm going to say is that the Awakener is basically like largely clear of the swarm. Really, right now, the only thing left between you and Planetfall is the gunship. So, I mean, you're being pursued by fighters still, but they're no longer in your way. So, the gunship sort of like maneuvers around, starts kind of making a beeline for Awakener. As it does so, you hear over the comms. All right, I'm clear. Same here. Hotshot clear. And you just basically hear as like several of Scrapyard Squadron are clearing the blockade. The gunship wheels around and it just opens fire with its remaining weapon systems. So this is actually going to be Bina for defense here. It's going to be a difficulty. Yeah, this is going to be a difficulty 4 task.
Okay. Do I get any help from my ship or my co-pilot?
Co-pilot should give an assist here, yeah.
Okay. Piloting. Task that involves sight.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Do you want to roll anyway?
Yeah.
Fuckered.
Take my
I
XP.
always do this to myself.
Take my
Fucking.
XP.
Are you sure?
Yes,
roll?
I don't want to die.
I don't.
Of course I rolled a 1, Lucas.
Yeah.
What do you even?
I'm just curious. I mean, this time you did a red line maneuver, so like it could have been anything between 1 and 3. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
8. I'll take it.
All right. Yeah. So you see as it just opens fire, like just rapid fire, like weapons opening up, including a couple like missile systems that fire on you.
Are they targeting us
Yep.
specifically?
Targeting you
Thank
specifically.
God. Okay,
Yeah,
cool. I guess
you,
that's good.
just throw Awakener into some. Now that you're clear of the swarm and don't have to worry about collisions, you just throw Awakener into just a dizzying twist, like just out of the way, to such a point, like such a violent twist that the missiles can't even track you through the turn. They just keep going past and then just sort of sputter out, and they just sort of tumble through space and you lose track of them. That was the gunship, which brings us back to the top with Mason. It is your turn currently.
Yeah, if I can continue giving an asset
Yep.
to Taeyeon,
Absolutely.
I'll do that.
All right. Sounds good.
And if there's anything extra that Mason could do, then he would. I don't know if that is a thing.
No, I think in this case you'd spend your turn assisting, so that is your
That's
action.
what I do then.
All right. The fighters are going to make one last attempt on Awakener, so they're going to fire as well. It's a difficulty 0, or no, it's not a difficulty 0. What am I talking about? It's a difficult math. It's a difficulty 5 because there's quite a few of them that are basically bunched up on your tail.
That was also, sorry everyone, that was also my hope, was that I was going to get people's attention so that they wouldn't fire on our friends.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Okay. 5, you
Yep,
said?
difficulty 5.
Okay. Oh, Alma or Awakener asset?
In this case, no, since there's no missiles involved.
Okay. Cool. Piloting.
Hmm?
Task involving sight.
Yeah.
Piloting.
Yep.
And task involving sight. Okay. Wait, that was 5?
Mhm.
Oh, okay. There.
Yeah. Okay. Rolling? No rolling?
Yeah. Of course I'm rolling.
I don't have any XP left, so.
I have XP.
I have XP too.
I'm just 12.
12. Okay. Yeah. You deftly avoid the barrage as you just sort of swing through, continuing like basically at a breakneck pace towards the gunship that is moving to intercept. So that was their attempt. So who's going next? It's Taeyeon or Peach or Bina?
I mean, if we're allowed to talk in between turns and stuff, Taeyeon's probably going to be like, okay, this is fun and all, but I want to end this quick. I think I'm going to aim for the power core. And he just lets that be known.
What can I do to help us to help that roll? Can I do some sort of maneuver or place myself strategically so that I can be an asset to Taeyeon's roll?
I'm not sure.
Wait, I could do a deep scan, and that would ease a weapons task or a piloting task.
There you go.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm not sure that the pilot can do much as far as that goes. But
Sounds good.
You
I'll
already
try-
brought us into range, which I think drops.
yeah,
it
right now
down from what I was doing
you
last
are
time.
in range. So
Okay.
like
Cool. That
yeah.
helps.
yeah, so that that is a thing for sure.
Taeyeon, I'll try to get a good look, and I'm gonna go ahead and try to do a deep scan. This is hindrance 2 steps. Does that
That
mean
means that currently
2 steps
yeah,
harder?
so you're at a difficulty 6 task for that. It's an
Ouch.
intellect.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Intelligence, the power shift, intelligence. And I don't think I have anything else. I'm just gonna dump. I'm gonna dump 3 levels of effort.
Okay.
I have a large intellect pool, you guys. It's
Okay,
not
nice.
I
bad.
have a large intellect pool.
Well, at least in the game.
Same.
A difficulty 2 now? Is that
Same.
it's down to a difficulty 2? Okay.
Mhm.
So you just need a 6 or better.
That's cool.
Okay, math. Okay. Okay. 17.
Ooh, okay.
These are the dice that Lily
roll?
gave me, by the way. So
Thank you,
Desiree is
Lily.
really
Like
here.
pirates, but wow, what's
Exactly, it
the
makes sense.
All right.
irony.
So yeah, you're able to quickly identify the exact location of the power core,
Yes.
sending that telemetry down to Taeyeon. So that
Shoot it there.
I see it, thanks.
all right. So Taeyeon, right now, if you're aiming for the power core, oh boy,
This is a huge.
this is a
huge
monumental roll. This is
Actually, no. I know what I want to do
Yeah,
actually
yeah.
first. I want to. I mentioned before. I don't know if I can do it. Can I disable defenses? Is there any defenses to disable?
there.
'Cause
It
I
does
know
have a
it's
couple more
defense.
weapon systems left.
So specifically weapons, so not disable.
Oh, defenses. Sorry, I misheard.
Yeah, because an ability
Um,
disable defenses.
Yeah, it would. Yeah, it does have a shield generator that you can. Yeah,
Okay. I want to disable that. I want to aim for
Okay.
that first.
sounds good.
Um,
So that is a difficulty 6.
I think from last time we did, the assets carry over still, right? From my rapid attack, if I get to attack
Yes.
again after
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Cool. So Peach's specific one doesn't, because that's specifically for the core. So I think I'm fair to say that doesn't really count.
Yeah.
But Mason did give me an asset
Yeah,
and accuracy.
and that's
punch it.
that's why it carries over, because it's about Mason sort of lining up information
Yeah.
and like positioning data and stuff like that. So yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm gonna spend a level of effort as well. To bring that down to 3. And I'm just gonna go with that.
Okay, so it's difficulty 3 where you're at? Okay,
Yeah.
so you just need a 9 or better.
12.
12. All right, so you line up a shot
Dang.
quickly and you fire, hitting a direct hit on the shield generator, and are rewarded with seeing a sort of like brief outline of an energy shell around the ship just sort of collapse.
Okay. Now, aiming for the power core.
Yeah, with your rapid. All right, yeah.
Yeah.
That is so cool.
Yes.
The reason why I didn't went for defense is because it eases the target.
Yeah.
by
So
one.
okay,
Sick
so
moves
let's
tonight.
see. Right now, I'm just trying to figure this out.
Oh, this is a huge.
Yeah, this is it's by
task.
default
it's difficulty
9.
9.
Yeah, it's difficulty 9.
Yeah.
So you have an asset from Mason,
Yeah.
it just eases the difficulty, not an asset from Peach.
Yeah.
So so yeah, you ease the difficulty down, then also the lowering of the defenses. So that's
So
down to a 6.
6.
Does the ship help at all? Can our ship help at all? Like if Alma's working on this too?
You'd have to be more specific, and there would have to be you'd have to make a case for it.
Okay. I mean, like if Alma was helping out with this task instead of me the next round or whatever. Because Alma is the ship.
That's
like,
true.
Is
That's
integrated
true.
with the ship that like.
Yeah, I'll allow it.
she'd be
I'll allow
around.
it on the basis that she will. This is what she's spending her turn assisting with.
Her
Yeah.
turn doing. Yeah, she doesn't
Mhm.
help me.
Okay. 4.
So that's now a 5.
Have I
It's
included?
now down to a 5.
Okay, so I need to go over that again because I can't remember if I include my power ship yet. So, asset from Mason, ease from Peach, took down defenses. That's
I'm only
3.
just so that you know, it's a
Alma?
difficulty 5 right now without any of your stuff because all I have included is just the reductions. So it's a difficulty 5
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's difficulty 5. Okay.
because there's
I think
2
I take it down
easing
to-
difficulties and 2 assets, which brings it down to a 5. So
Oh, who brings it down to a 5
Yeah.
already? Okay, then I have an accuracy. I got my accuracy power shift. It's gonna bring it down to a
Okay.
4. And I'm gonna use another level of effort to bring it down to a 3.
Okay.
And oh god, I'm using a lot of speed.
Hopefully, this is the last thing you have to do.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think that's a 3
okay,
now.
so you just need a 9 or better.
I've got a 9 exactly.
Yes!
All right. So
Yes.
like Taylor just kind of like for Taylor everything seems to slow down. He takes a deep breath, and thanks to Peach's like direct coordinates of where the core is, he just aims and just fires.
Yeah. So the core, like you don't have a direct shot on it on your current trajectory, but as you are approaching, you see as at the last second, almost like anticipating your movement, Awakener just sort of like Bina, it's entirely out of your control. You just feel Awakener sort of lurch very slightly to the side at a weird angle that you don't think you would have been able to bring her to at this speed. Awakener just sort of lurches to one side, giving you a split-second Taeon of perfectly lined up shot to a kind of a section that is just on the outside of where the core is. And you line up that shot and fire. And as you do, you see the shot impact, and for a moment there's nothing. And then you see sort of and then just a whole bunch of chain reaction detonations across the hull of the ship, and then it just sort of comes apart. The ship just sort of comes apart and sort of drifts, and then you see a blast after the ship has fully come apart. It's kind of like, I don't know, in the best example I can think of is in like Attack of the Clones, right? The seismic charges, that it's like that. It's just sort of this like collapse and then of explosive energy out from the husk, just sort of scattering the pieces around. So as the gunship just detonates, and Awakener shoots past it. You can feel the rumble of turbulence as that blast catches Awakener.
Wait, we all gotta do Star
Yeah.
Trek.
All right. And with that,
That's Porcupine dealt with.
oh yeah. With that, you just hear over the comms, holy shit. All right, Awakener dealt with that. Everyone ghost. And you just hear over the comms as they do that, you watch as all of Scrapyard Squadron just immediately starts flying evasively. And you can immediately tell on your scanners that it is causing problems for the enemy fighters, because now they don't have their scopes to help them. So they have basically they're using exclusively like eyesight to try to track Scrapyard,
Oh my gosh.
which is almost impossible in space. It is almost impossible. And you see as one by one the remainder of Scrapyard Squadron flies free and clear. Awakener continuing to zoom down, and as you shoot past the last sort of tail end of the debris that's still flying apart from the gunship, being it flying clear, there's a moment as everything sort of like gets a little bit blinding around you, as the explosion sort of engulfs Awakener for a second, and as you come out of it and your eyes readjust, you see 5 ships, 5 fighters, just sort of flying alongside 5 brightly colored, loud pattern ships, patchwork of multicolored paints and patterns across their hulls on your starboard side, and then another 6 on the port side as you watch as they kind of reform the wedge as you all head down planet side, and you hear the voice of the Major come over the comms just saying, "Well done, Scrapyard Squadron. Good work, Awakener. We're free and clear. See you planet side." And with that, we are going to come to the end of the episode.
Have you ever felt so cool in your life?
Not till tonight.
Was sick.
Oh, that was rough.
That was, oh man, space battles, tactics.
We've
That
never
was-
done like that before. Like a actual like long space like battle, like
No,
ship
that-
battle with the whole crew involved.
I know.
Oh,
That was
good.
so cool. I'm so glad we had those like maneuvers and shit. That was
Yeah.
so.
All right.
Oh god.
Well, we went.
I
Goodness
have
me.
We went.
I had 14. My max speed port is 14, and I went down to 7.
Ugh.
I was nearly halfway. I was halfway there.
Oh my
Whoa.
God.
Okay.
All right. Well, we have gone significantly over our time, so
Thanks for
hanging out, everybody. We're gonna go without really. We're gonna skip past our end announcements, but I will say, if you're not already, you should be in the Discord, because that's where
Yes.
you can get context to any of the stuff that you saw. So for any of you raiders who came and stuck around, had no idea what you were watching, you can ask questions in the Discord. It's a good place to be. So if you are interested in knowing more, that's the place you want to be. So yeah, Discord, and yeah. So we'll see you on Friday for Ramblemancy, where we will have Olivia stepping in for John. We'll be talking about storytelling in tabletop RPGs and media.
Gonna be tight.
It's gonna be a lot of fun. So
Hella.
so we'll see you then, but if not, we'll see you the next time you decide to come roll with us. Good night and good zone, everybody.
Night.